Hero.
We did the thing.
Hi.
We're here again.
Live.
We're doing it live.
Live as
This is number
fuck.
45, everybody.
45. God damn.
And I believe it's our 70th and 71st films.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
I like that you're keeping track of that because I'm not.
Which means that what
The
did we
next
just
one
what,
will be the 72?
Yes, but what was the one we Requiem for a Dream was
Yeah.
number 69.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem that sexy of a movie to me.
You know,
It was
even the sex
what's-
was woefully
what's-
depressing.
What's the number for ass to ass?
Yeah.
88?
Yeah.
New thing.
I feel like it should be.
Just coined.
Just logistically, I see where that works.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's too old to be cool. He's Mr. John Brown. He's the guy to my right over here. He's going to be one of your podcasters tonight. He's the man that watched everything. He watches too much. He talks a lot about all the stuff that he's watched, and we'll continue to do that tonight, I'm sure.
Of course I will.
Then we got me. I need no introduction, and I won't get one. So anyway, what have you guys been watching?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Do it.
Have you guys ever heard of Fritz the Cat?
I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
just
I've
cool. That's
seen
whole Ralph Bakshi, super like edgy
Yep.
animated stuff from
based
what,
on a
70s.
Crumb. Yeah, 1972. In fact, I just realized this
I would like to watch that again.
it'd be a great double feature because there's a
to watch it with Crumb.
yeah. Have you seen Crumb?
I think I've seen Crumb, but I haven't seen Fritz the Cat.
So Fritz the Cat, it was fine. It was fun. I imagined it felt a lot more revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
The animation was really fun, but it was nothing great. Crumb, the documentary though, is really good.
Yeah.
I would love to rewatch of that.
It's like American movie level of good documentary.
Yeah. Man, now I'm rethinking my choices because that literally was on my.
Are you doing the picks tonight? I lose track of it. Okay, yeah.
And Crumb was on my short list, and I didn't know what to pair it with.
Yeah.
Because we've done like next to no
Yeah.
documentaries. Besides, I can't even think of another one besides American Movie.
I mean, it's the only one we've done, so you literally can't think of another one.
Now I'm just gonna be freaking thinking about this
But
the
I mean,
whole
like,
episode.
it's a
Okay,
documentary. We
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing 3 documentaries a year. We really shouldn't.
Yeah.
there's some good ones though.
There
I mean,
are
like
some
Crumb.
There are some good
and
ones.
American
but
Movie.
Like, if we do all the good ones in the first 2 years, and this thing goes on for like 7 years, and we're gonna never have a documentary again.
If I don't get too distracted, I might think of something during the episode.
I like
to
how
pair
you're
with Crumb.
coming in not knowing what your pick is.
No,
because
I
that's-
knew what my pick was.
Oh.
Now I'm rethinking it.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. You were not concrete in your pick, sir.
I was, and then I thought about Crumb. Okay.
Let's see how the
Anyways,
episode goes.
so this is like really like a unheard of thing. It has like almost no view logs on Letterboxd. But because I recently watched The Brutalist. I talked about that last episode. I was getting interested in movies about architecture and construction and building and stuff. Because there's not a lot, but the ones that I can think of are really good. I actually started making a list on Letterboxd. See what you guys think of some of these. And now I haven't seen all of these, but so far I included Columbus, The Brutalist, There Will Be Blood, Syndicate, New York, Schenectady, New York.
What is this list that you're?
This is a list of movies. I'm currently working on buying a house, and I'll be moving into a house soon. And I watched The Brutalist, and it reminded me a lot of a few other movies I've seen. Specifically, it really reminded me of Schenectady, New York, which is a fantastic Charlie Kaufman movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman. Probably my favorite Seymour Hoffman performance. And I love seeing...
Better than Boogie Nights?
I mean,
I feel like his Boogie Nights performance is like very like secretly well above solid.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean that's what makes him special. He is like kind of fantastic in every single movie
He was,
in,
yeah.
regardless of the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
Like he was good in the fucking Hunger Games movies. And
I never saw Capote.
He was fun in
Oh,
Twister.
he was really good in that.
I-
and Twister.
I remember
Twister.
seeing the trailer and stuff and thinking, God, he fucking creeps me out. Like I don't. Think
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the performance people talk about of him are movies that he was in for like 5 to 10 minutes, you know? And
Yeah. He's
the
a
thing
very
people
small
talk
part
about.
in Boogie Nights, but like
Yeah.
it's super memorable, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else could have played that part.
No. So yeah, anyway, The Brutalist has a lot of really amazing imagery that you don't get to see a lot of movies, specifically around construction and architecture and design. And I was really enjoying it and looking for that in other movies. Columbus, I have not seen. This is a movie from 2017, but I've heard a lot about it, and my sister loves it. And it takes place and was filmed in Columbus, Indiana, which I didn't know was a place, but apparently,
yeah, it is a place.
yeah.
But like, is this a movie that you watched or haven't watched?
This is like top of my list.
Oh, okay.
Of movies on this list
Okay.
that I have not.
So you're
watched.
about to give us a list, and then you're going to tell us some of the movies that you watched off of this list.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be like a
Okay.
long term over the next few months thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right on.
We're on the same page now.
Yeah. So some of the movies, I'll name the movies I have seen first. I included The Brutalist, of course. There Will Be Blood, Schenectady, New York, Don't Look Now, which the main
Don't Look
character
Now.
is like renovating a cathedral in Italy. Mother, if you've seen Mother, exclamation
I
mark.
think I have.
Yeah.
Which mother is that?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
I just pressed a button. Did I do something?
No.
Okay.
Just changes the sound
You're
setting.
still good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of your mic.
Panic Room. The Curse, which is that miniseries that came out last year, 2023, with Nathan Fielder. Inception, Hereditary.
As soon as you started talking about this category, Inception popped
Yeah.
into my mind.
Right? Like, it's not a lot of movies, but the ones you think of are like top of your mind.
Right.
Yeah, well, they literally build buildings with their mind. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like you see it happen in front of you. So
Yeah.
the visual, like I don't even know if it's good for like what you're going for, but the
Yeah.
fact that it puts that visual in your mind.
Yeah, no,
makes it
it's
good for what you're
exactly
going
the thing
for.
I'm thinking of. Because it doesn't have to be the driving force of the
Yeah.
movie, right? Like Hereditary, I put on the list because the mom is building the models constantly.
Yeah.
And the house is so, like, big in
Is
the
Beetlejuice on that
the
list 'cause they
visuals.
build a model
Yeah.
on that.
No,
I
there's when you get into like just movies adjacent to architecture, like
Yeah.
there's a shit ton of horror films that just fall right in that
Yeah.
line because
And
so many
it's-
horror films like revolve around some
Yeah.
ridiculous property.
But by no means am I going for a comprehensive list. I'm
Yeah.
looking for vibes. I included Castle in the Sky. I might also include Howl's Moving Castle.
Right.
I also included Money Pit.
Yeah.
That was like a family favorite growing up.
Also, and I'll tell you what, I rewatched that with Molly like probably a year or two ago. That movie made me laugh my ass off when I was a kid, and that movie is still funny today.
Yeah.
And Molly had never seen it, and like it's like well before her time because my wife is young, and like she laughed her ass off, and she's like,
Yeah.
I can't believe I've never seen this
Yeah.
PG movie.
Yeah.
That would have been because there are a lot of movies she hasn't seen because her family was really religious and she wasn't allowed to watch them. And this is
Right.
like totally a family appropriate movie that her family never watched.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah.
it's so good. And it's Tom
Criminal.
Hanks at his funniest for sure.
Yeah. Has she seen Groundhog Day?
She
I know,
hates
that's not
Groundhog
Tom
Day.
Hanks.
She absolutely
What?
fucking despises
Okay.
Groundhog Day.
Do you guys like Groundhog Day?
I
It's been
love
long.
Groundhog
I
Day.
remember
I
liking
love
it, but it's
every
been
movie
ages.
that has ever had a groundhog. That's a hard. Groundhog Day.
Ground's Hog.
Those hogs that come from the ground. Anytime there's ever been a movie that had one of them and what they stand for, I'm into it.
I don't know what it is about Groundhog. I mean, I also love that like trope, the repeating day.
Yeah, well, it's like we're both like suckers for any kind of time travel thing.
Yeah,
it's definitely in that same.
But just as a comedy, like Groundhog Day, it is
the first
so
one to really do it too.
Weird. It is kind of that like everyone I talk to about Groundhog Day is either like it's one of the best comedies ever or I hate it. Like two ways. I've not met anyone that's like middle of the road on Groundhog Day.
It's been a very long time since I've seen it.
What I've been able to pry away from.
I can only imagine that I would absolutely love it.
Oh my god! I think you need to pick Groundhog Day because John, like over here, like I kind of remember it.
Yeah, it's been ages.
He's like a big Bill Murray guy. Like
it's kind of weird because we've got every like Groundhog Day that passes. It's just I miss it and I'm like, oh damn, I should have watched Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day. But like Groundhog Day is so a nothing holiday that I always forget.
Friday night Groundhog Day.
All right, there we go. Nice.
That'll be fun.
This is the time of year to watch Groundhog Day too, because literally it just fucking happened.
So then some of the movies I included that I have not seen, the Jake Gyllenhaal film Demolition, which I haven't seen. I don't know much about it, but I know that it involves some renovations and stuff. So
when you said Jake Gyllenhaal, I was afraid you were going to say Donnie Darko, but continue.
Safe, which is a really early in her career Julianne Moore. I've heard a lot of people say, and this is from 1995. A lot of people. This is Todd Haynes. Todd Haynes, director of Carol, I'm Not There.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've heard a lot of people say that movie was getting really popular when COVID was starting because it's all about someone being like claustrophobic and stuck in their house. I added Under the Tuscan Sun. Here, that Tom Hanks movie that came out last year.
Yeah. Still want to watch that.
Megalopolis, which I know is going to be bad, but I got to watch it. Included Life as a House, which I don't know anything about that one.
All in favor of the architecture?
This is both. It's movies about architecture, about design, about remodeling.
Do you have
construction?
I don't know, have you seen Dark City?
Oh,
it's been a long time.
I feel like you should put Dark City.
Here's one.
List.
Yeah, Dark City's a good one.
It's Rufus Sewell. I can't remember who directed it, but it's a fucking adventure of a film for sure.
Yeah.
Here's one for you for this list. Dave Made a Maze.
Dave made. Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's a really fun movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dave Made a Maze.
Dave Made a Maze. Dude makes a cardboard box.
It's like a nothing budget comedy.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. He goes in. It's actually like you get lost in it.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, so that's a list I've been working on.
I always write down movies at the bottom of my notepad of things that I'm going to watch with Molly.
Oh, Molly would love that one. Yeah,
and like I never actually get to the list.
Yeah, no, Dave Made a Maze is fucking legit. It's super fun.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that one too. Yeah, that's a list I've been having fun with.
All right, that's fun.
Back to the movies I've been watching because that was just spawned off of. Oh, that was a build up to the next movie I was going to talk about.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You watch everything. I say, what have you been watching? And you give me 20 minutes on what you're gonna watch next week.
So yeah, all that build up was I was looking for movies on Letterboxd about design and architecture, and I stumbled across a documentary that was free on YouTube from 1994. It was 37 minutes long. It's called Jerry Building. Unholy Relics of Nazi Germany.
Okay.
And it's just this British host going all around different like major locations from, that era. Even just concentration camps, new government buildings, monuments. And then it also goes into like memorials post 9/11 or not 9/11, post World War II. But the host, his name is Jonathan Meads, and I think he's got like several of these documentaries, so I'm going to look into them. But he is just so funny and sardonic and just shitting all over Hitler and the Nazis the whole time in like the cleverest, most backhanded ways.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Like I said, free on YouTube, as are most of the other ones. And it's 37 minutes long. It was also very informative. Oh, I got to go over to Karma and we watched another movie. We watched It's Alive. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've seen that one.
It's been a minute. What's the bit?
A husband and wife are having a baby, and the
Yeah.
baby is born like monstrous and kills everyone in the OR.
Operating room?
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I just watched that last year.
Yeah, I
No.
thought you'd mentioned it. Yeah.
Honestly, like, kind of it's pretty fucking solid.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the effects of the baby and shit,
Yeah.
like, some of the shots are like
They do a really good
Yeah.
mix of.
I have not seen this one. If you guys are thinking ahead for October, that might be
Yeah.
a good
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah.
no, it was a lot of fun for.
We had
for
a
what
lot
it
of
is.
non-Halloween themed Halloween films last
Oh
year.
my
so
god! You bring this up every fucking episode.
Thank God we brought in a
Jesus.
ringer.
No, I forgot the title
We
was
gave
It's
him a heart
Alive.
attack.
'Cause
Yeah, it's a
Thank
very
God.
generic title.
Yeah, because there's a couple other like monster baby films that like float around in my head that I wanted
Yeah.
to watch that have more specifically appropriate titles than that one does.
And this
'Cause you
is
don't think,
this is directed by the same guy who did The Stuff.
oh, dude, that makes so much sense. Which
Yeah.
have you ever watched The Stuff?
I have not.
Oh, The Stuff. I actually like. I kind of want to pick that one sometime.
I haven't seen the stuff, but I've seen the substance now.
Yeah,
Some
The
of it.
Stuff is pretty fucking cool, man. The Stuff is good. The Stuff is it's the kind of it's a similar intention.
Oh, Dave made a maze.
No, the similar intention of The Substance, where
Oh.
it's a criticism of something.
Yeah.
Which is The Stuff is a criticism of consumer culture, and The Substance was criticism of like film culture. So, but yeah, The Stuff is a lot of fun for sure.
I rewatched. Are you guys familiar with the Orlando Bloom movie Elizabethtown?
Don't think you ever
I've
saw
seen
it.
it.
Yeah, it's
I saw when it came out. I know it's bad.
yeah. I mean, it was for whatever reason my
It's like
siblings.
Reese Witherspoon or something. Like
Kristen Dunst.
Kristen Dunst. Yeah, I
yeah.
get those two confused. But I also feel
Yeah,
like
I
Reese
can see that.
Witherspoon at that same time did a movie where she played somebody who she played like a Southern Belle. I feel like
Yeah.
she did a
Yeah.
similar movie at the same time.
It was probably like Sweet Home Alabama.
yes,
probably,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Like those movies came out like not that far apart,
yeah.
and
Well, Elizabethtown is fully, I feel like a ripoff of like what's that Zach Braff movie that everybody loves?
can you rip off
Garden
a Zach
State?
Braff?
Garden State.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of like real indie.
Garden State was.
Angsty.
I remember Garden State being good. It's been a long fucking
Yeah.
time since I've watched it.
I don't
It
know,
hasn't
like,
aged super well,
I
but
feel like Zach Braff's performance in that movie was kind of lackluster. Like he was very
Zach Braff.
Yeah.
I know, but like he was very just one note and melancholy. Like he was just.
I mean, you
like,
could argue that's the.
no,
that's
but
the
it's
character.
not because like he built his career in like a goofy ass like comedy series where he was like lots of energy and
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like maybe
like,
that was just
Yeah,
the
I
character.
guess,
I mean,
I
like
guess.
it's a thing you could argue, but no, I don't necessarily. I don't know. I can't say I disagree or not because I haven't seen the movie since.
I just
was
feel
in
like when you
fucking
say
high school.
Garden State, there are like a million independent type films that are exactly like Garden State.
Yeah, and a lot that are
but
better.
like this, a lot of them were knockoffs of Garden State because
Yeah.
Garden State was really successful, especially because it was very low budget. And this is
But Garden State wasn't even the first movie. I mean, like
no.
there were
I
a
mean,
million Garden States before Garden State.
You can take it back to like
like,
fucking Harold and Maude.
fucking
Like, it's-
Yeah.
Bigsby goes down.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's a trope. It's like Garden State was like the modern iteration of
yeah.
it that
for its time,
quote unquote peaked. But Elizabethtown has a lot of flaws, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. For whatever reason, I saw it like 4 times, not in theaters, but when I was growing up, and
Right.
my siblings and all really like it. And there were so many lines in it that like little dumb quotes that I didn't even realize were from Elizabethtown.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Um,
always kind of fun to see.
Yeah, I it was still enjoyable, and that was fun.
I think Orlando Bloom is like not good.
Oh, he's. I mean, I
Like
think he's
generally,
fine
no.
now.
he's like pretty, but he's
Yeah.
not good. You
No.
know, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not bad, but he's not good.
yeah, he's good enough.
He's.
Yeah.
And I
for
think
this-
the best thing I've seen him do was the Amazon show Carnival Row, and I think because
Yeah.
the setting of it was so interesting and cool, Like he worked,
Yeah.
but he wasn't good in it.
I thought he's good as Legolas, but like it is a stoic character. You don't need a ton
Yeah, I
of
mean,
action
you
shots
just need
for
to
it.
be a fucking tall, pretty white guy to be an elf. I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
No, he's way too pretty for this movie, Elizabethtown.
Yeah.
Because they're going for such a Midwestern vibe, and he is so pretty.
Yeah.
It's just distracting. He's also doing an American accent, and it is like what I would describe as British person tries an American accent once, and it's like it's Benedict Cumberbatch in the first Doctor Strange movie. It's like, I am American. Can't you tell from my American accent that I'm American? It's like no one in America actually sounds like that.
I never actually noticed that from that movie. Like, it did not bother me when I watched it. Like,
he got so much better in the later Doctor Strange roles.
So we've talked about this since the show's inception, about how my wife always drags me to these Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Marvel has run out of gas when she no longer drags me to Marvel movies.
Oh, they are out.
She has no interest in anything Marvel related that they have done. Like,
they're kind of in their flop era. I think they're going to bounce back. It's just
they're just going to start over like that.
No, that's what it always has
it's
to
gonna
be.
be a soft start over.
No,
that's
why I have never given a fuck about comic books, because it's nothing but starts over.
That's the thing. People keep everything people complain about the MCU. I go, that's exactly how they do it in the comics. Like that's just that's just the comics, right?
It is, and that's why I've never given a shit. Like I get so much comic book stuff feed across my social media stuff, like across Facebook, and it's constantly like all these characters fucking dead. Like, man, I've seen some fucking post about this character being murdered like 8 different fucking times.
Yeah.
What is even going on? Like, the writers just don't give a fuck. Comic books they've never given a fuck. I agree, that's a stupid criticism.
Well, because you have every get out of jail free card you need, right?
Yeah.
You have time travel, you have the multiverse.
Yeah, you have everything.
You have
it's
fucking
it's so frustrating.
Immortals,
No, I think as far as comic book stuff goes, like, fucking good luck, Marvel. My vote is now with DC stuff, because I'm gonna watch James Gunn shit.
Yeah, because
I
now
don't want to watch anything.
Well, DC's going back to standalone movies that aren't building towards a multiverse.
Yeah,
and,
which is fine.
It worked for a lot of movies.
Where that guy goes, I'll watch his movies.
Yeah, I mean,
like that
he's got a good track record.
I love that.
It is getting kind of tired. Like, I think that's probably what hurt the Marvel universe. Like,
Well,
trying to tie everything together. It's like
they've been beating a dead horse.
Like everybody, there's like no matter what movie they do, it's just like, well, we need the scene with Samuel L. Jackson to tie it all together.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's another thing is people keep complaining about the Marvel movies is that they feel like they have to watch 25 movies to catch up, plus like 6 TV shows.
You just watch one and they're all the same.
So 2 things. Two things is, one, have you read a comic? Because that's exactly what comics are. If you want to understand every aspect of the story, you have to have read 30 years of comic books.
Which all have an ass ton of different writers.
Yeah.
And have been reset a million times. No, exactly.
And 2 is you don't need to understand every reference. If,
No, you don't.
If you're watching, there's movies, there's probably times in Big Trouble Little China or something, right? Where someone goes, remember that time in Taiwan? That was crazy. Yeah. Right? You don't need to know what he's talking about. Yeah,
for sure.
So if somebody in Thor 5 says, I can't believe I haven't talked to you since the last time we were on Asgard. Yeah, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know.
Yeah, for sure.
I just, and the other, I am going to talk about, I just saw the new Captain America movie, and I just got to say, if they're not for you, don't see them. Sure. I would never push anyone to see a Marvel movie that's like, I don't really like superhero movies. Like, okay, don't see it.
Is that the one with the black dude? What's his name?
Anthony Mackie. Yeah, and then Red Hulk.
Fucking hate that guy. He's so not good.
I think Chris...
Talk about not good. That guy's not good.
Chris Evans, I think, is a hard act to follow, and he... made a very charismatic character, and Anthony Mackie just doesn't really have the leading.
He doesn't have any charisma.
Yeah.
Like, he literally doesn't have any
He
charisma.
does kind of lack on the charisma front.
He thrives the most, especially in this movie, when he's like bouncing off of somebody else that they has good chemistry with, and that just doesn't feel like a good leading man.
I feel like he's always played the second act.
Yeah.
Like what was the series?
Oh, that was one of the greatest tragedies in fucking film media.
What was
to
that
me.
fucking series?
Altered Carbon.
Yeah, Altered Carbon.
Yeah.
Like, so Altered Carbon, if you've never seen it, really great series.
Oh, the first
season
season
one,
was fucking amazing.
But the whole thing is like future has evolved to where like the rich are the only ones that like get to live forever, and they like basically take over like bodies.
Well,
like,
everyone
consciousness lives.
Everyone
through
gets
other fucking.
Everyone
skins.
gets to just re-sleeve themselves into a new body. The rich get the best pickings of that, but the main character.
Yeah, so the main character becomes a different main character because he just changes skins.
Yeah,
like he basically dies at the end. But spoiler for season 1, he dies at the end, but. You don't really die. You just re-sleeve.
Yeah, well, he had to. Well, at the end of the season, when he had to give the body back, he had to give the sleeve back.
I didn't watch the second season because I saw that dude was gonna be the lead.
Oh, it was so
and like
atrocious.
John's like, I talked to John about it after John watched it. I'm like, was it like this? And he's like, it was exactly like that. And it's like, yeah, that guy is like the second fiddle. He's the second fiddle all the time.
And for that show too, they pushed it so much more in like a Marvel movie direction of just like way more obnoxiously choreographed fight scenes than it ever had before, and like just nothing like it matched his character. But yeah, I actually have a movie to talk about with him in it, and I'm gonna shit all over it.
Oh yeah, fuck this movie.
I also
overall though, how was the movie?
I thought it was fun
for what it was.
Yeah, for what it is, I thought it was fun. I liked a lot of the world building aspects in it, and what's the guy? Buster Scruggs. That actor who played Buster Scruggs.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, so he was in one of the way back MCU movies, the first Hulk, or not the first Hulk movie. He was in the Edward Norton Hulk movie.
I haven't seen that movie.
And he was set up as to be the leader, right?
Yeah.
The villain named the leader. And he finally shows back up in this. And I thought they executed him really well. I thought they made him.
I would like this. I really like that guy. So that him being there makes me
Tim Blake Nelson. That's his name.
Performance. That would be cool to see.
Yeah, he was great in that. Honestly, I thought Harrison Ford was really good. And then a lot of the little supporting characters and stuff and villains. I enjoyed it, but again, I'm not going to push anybody to see it if they're not really interested.
There are elements to that one that that do pique my interest, like Harrison Ford as a Hulk, and then because the Red Hulk's kind of, I don't know dick about Hulk, but the Red Hulk I've seen, the little snippets I've seen, it is kind of an interesting character in the Hulk universe.
I also got to go see, actually this was on Valentine's Day, Paddington in Peru. And if you enjoy the first two Paddington movies, you will enjoy this. I thought it was a really fun time. I will say Olivia Colman is in it, and she's incredible. She's just perfect in everything she is.
Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman.
Might know her from
The Favorite. If you saw The Favorite.
Okay.
She won an Oscar.
Seen The Favorite, but I have seen her and stuff.
Yeah. She's British.
Yeah.
She was in
I
Hot Fuzz.
Her being British and the stuff that I've seen her in.
Sorry, all the
memorably British
posters were dimmed because I've watched those movies, so you couldn't actually see what any of them were. And Antonio Banderas, they both play bad guys in the movie, and they're both they fucking chew up the scene every time they're on camera, and they're so funny.
Antonio Banderas is like, as much like bullshit as he's done, like, I like Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, he's done a lot of Robert Rodriguez stuff.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
All bullshit.
Like, I mean, Robert Rodriguez is like definitely a flavor of bullshit, and I dig it. And I've always liked Antonio Banderas. His kind of charisma just carries whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
but he's great in 4 Rooms.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
I watched from a few years ago the horror movie The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke.
It's one where there's like a mask on the cover box or something.
Yeah, like a Joker mask.
I can visualize the movie that I've never seen. Yes.
Yeah.
I tune out.
The trailers are.
It's not cellular.
Kids
it's
keep
the Black Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the poster. I'll just show you.
It's cellular meets Yeah.
I never watched that. No. I didn't
Cellular
even
meets the ones where they have Murder Day.
Yeah.
Like, what's that?
Oh, the Purge.
The
Purge.
Purge.
Yeah.
Cellular meets the Purge.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty dumb. It was like,
Was it Cellular meets the Purge? Because the cover.
what's the cellular?
Cellular is like a movie that's, I assume, about cell phones that kill you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of those actually. Now there's a lot of like cell phone adjacent
Yeah.
I've seen these movies.
horror
It's
movies.
Like,
I tune out on. I don't watch any of those. Like if it's about a phone or social
I
media,
have a hard. I
I'm
have
not
such a hard
watching
time with
shit.
horror films just because it's like a bunch of churned up, redundant bullshit.
No, most of them are
Yeah.
schlock, and I'm like a huge fucking
This
horror guy.
this is the kind of movie that's going so hard for a Stephen King vibe that it just kind of
Bad ending, I'm guessing.
flops.
Yeah.
Classic Stephen
It's
King.
set, it came out a couple years ago, but it's set in the 80s. And,
Right? Yeah.
did not like it. I thought honestly all the child actors were terrible.
Yeah.
But,
Most of the time they are.
Child actors.
Yeah.
I watched a new Apple TV movie, and I don't remember. I feel like we talked about this. I think Apple TV just keeps knocking it out of the park with their sci-fi
Yes.
TV shows.
We did
Yeah.
talk a lot about that.
But their movies kind of all suck.
Yeah, I generally don't. When it comes to these streaming services, I'm more in line with their series than their
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Netflix
movies.
puts out some good movies.
Yeah, Netflix does.
They've got a couple.
Apple TV.
They've got a lot of good movies.
Put
They
out-
have a good amount of shitty movies, but I would say
Yeah.
they have more good than bad movies.
Like anytime they give like an auteur some budget, like
Yeah, no, I
Charlie Kaufman or
I would always stand behind next.
David
but
Fincher.
They definitely had some bad shit. But
yeah,
they
I mean they all do. But The Gorge is Miles Teller and
I saw the trailer, and I saw the chick doing like the stunt, which I'm sure it wasn't her doing the stunt, but like
no.
I hope it wasn't her doing the stunt because she looked like I'm jumping off of a building, and like she looked like really uncomfortable jumping off of a building. And it's like
yeah, there's some bad.
it's like
stunts.
oh god, I could like this looks bad.
Miles Teller is so. If you told me that Miles Teller was a real Marine and this was the first movie he ever acted in, I would believe you. He is so bad in this movie, and he has no chemistry with Anya Taylor-Joy, and of course there's a romance, and it's really
She looked bad in the trailer, and I've never seen her look bad.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
she has a really bad wig in the movie.
Ew.
Probably because it's probably coming right off of like Furiosa, where I think
Oh,
she probably
right.
shaved. for that.
Yeah.
which is still the best thing I've ever seen her in, and it's not really close, is I think it was a Netflix mini series called The Queen's
Yeah.
Gambit. That's the best thing I've ever seen.
I forgot. Well, she's in the menu too, and that's
Oh, she is in the menu. The menu's the best thing
What about
I've
the
ever
witch?
seen her in.
She's in The Witch.
yeah.
The menu's the best thing I've ever seen her in, but like
need to
she's the
rewatch that.
best in Queen's Gambit.
Yeah,
like she
yeah.
actually is.
Yeah, for sure.
the
It's so much
central-
more of a focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. So it's 2 hours and 7 minutes long, which the whole time it just feels kind of like an action sci-fi movie,
Right.
and it doesn't need to be 2 hours long. I think they really shoehorned in a romance where you don't need
Oh,
one.
yeah. I could see that.
And there is a
You got
couple,
to, right?
huh?
You got to.
You got to.
You gotta
Well,
check
what are
all
you
the
gonna
boxes.
watch?
Yeah, you gotta check all the boxes.
They actually go in the gorge at one point, and there's some like fucking awesome creature designs
Right.
and special effects, and you get kind of pissed off that
There's not more.
you
Yeah.
watch an hour and a half of them up in the real world, and then 30 minutes down in the gorge, and it's like you couldn't have made the whole movie in the gorge.
yeah.
God damn, there's a
don't
good
need this
movie
shit.
here.
Yeah. That's frustrating.
It's very
For sure.
frustrating.
I think that's just a kind of a thing about.
Oh my god, it's the same director as the Black Phone. God
there you
damn
go.
it.
You got.
Fuck. I was kind of just watching it because I've really been in the mood for. I wanted to watch new releases, like 2025
Yeah.
movies, and of course, there's not that many because it's
True.
fucking barely March.
Yeah.
But you take what you can get, I guess.
Yeah.
Desperate times. And then last thing I watched was a documentary about Tom Green and directed by Tom Green.
It's,
and which he fully is like, and that's an unusual thing to do, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah,
and it was
very Tom Green.
super informative.
Hey,
and like
I'm
kind of
fucking Tom Green, guys. Check this out. Here's a movie about me. You don't know about me? Well, I'll tell you about me.
like, well, he's like, I don't know if you've seen Tom Green lately, but he like totally sold everything, like sold his LA house and bought a farm in Canada, and just runs a farm in Canada now.
I've seen a handful. I think I've seen a handful of celebrities.
Yeah, but it kind of really made me appreciate him as a person, and I really thought it was a well done documentary.
Nice.
And that's
he's a real intelligent dude.
Amazon Prime. Yeah.
He just.
I also
wacky
rewatched
someday.
Howard the Duck. If you guys haven't seen Howard the Duck,
I've
seen Howard the Duck probably 30 times.
Yeah.
Oh, and you said you didn't like superhero movies.
I haven't seen it in probably 30 years, but I've seen it 30 times.
Yeah, no, I watched it fairly recently. I enjoyed it the last time I watched it, I'm pretty sure.
It honestly has some really fun visual effects.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't hold up very well. It's like it definitely, like, in that spot in the 80s, it felt like a certain genre where it was like there weren't a lot of things that were like kid-like, but really for adults.
Yeah. There's a lot of sex in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't the norm back then to
No.
do, like, slightly animated things.
This would actually be a good double feature with Fritz the Cat.
yeah, for sure.
Howard the Duck and Fritz the Cat. But yeah, that catches me up on what I've been watching.
All right, well, I'll go ahead because I've got some things I'll segue into with Dustin over here.
Yeah.
From what we've watched. First thing, I did watch Flow, that animated
Is that the
Criterion.
cat?
Oh, yeah.
The cat thing?
Yeah.
it keeps
Wonderful
popping up
fucking
on-
film, man. Just,
So good.
Just
It's
super
Oscar
fun.
nominated, I believe.
Yeah, for best animated feature.
Yeah. Which is funny because a lot of the animation is actually not that good.
I'll say,
You know?
I don't want to push anyone off from watching it because I think it's totally worth watching.
It is,
And
absolutely.
they do achieve some really beautiful stuff.
No, they do.
But a lot of it kind of looks like you had like a early PS4 game and like kind of just made the entire
Yeah.
movie by filming
Yeah.
like your free
some
realm
of the
characters,
animation
you know?
is not as what you would expect from a film now.
Yeah.
I do think it still works really well.
Yeah.
But overall, like, no, it was super fucking enjoyable. I mean,
Mhm.
it was just a good time. I don't exactly know. I kind of know what they were going for, and there were parts that I don't exactly know what they were doing. But all in all, it was just a fun fucking ride, man. And like,
Yeah.
all the different animals together. It's a cat meets a capybara, meets a fucking lemur, meets a fucking dog. It does kind of paint a shitty picture of dogs.
Oh yeah, the dogs suck.
There was one a really cool dog, then the other dogs are fucking assholes.
Maybe it's about privilege.
Yeah.
Everyone loves dogs, and the dogs fucking ruin everything.
Yeah, no, they did. They ruined shit as soon as they were, except the one guy. He was more of like a Labrador, maybe? Like a
Yeah.
retriever.
Something, yeah.
I'm not a dog guy, but no, it was just.
It seemed kind of golden retriever.
Yeah.
But the capybara,
Golden retriever.
man, fucking
Dude, capybara.
MVP.
I keep seeing fucking videos of capybaras too on fucking Facebook, and I'm just like, how do I get one of these things? 'Cause
They're
these
having a
things
moment, yeah.
Are fucking amazing. They just
I've-
sit there
I've,
and rub
I've
their
petted,
belly and shit. They're
yeah.
just like hanging out, like snacking and
So
They're-
chill.
dude, they are.
I feel like you could smoke a blunt with
yeah,
a
no, and
capybara.
I think I've heard that capybaras are just like friendly to everything. Like,
Yeah.
there's no animal that they're not like cool with.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. But yeah, no,
they
the
just
movie.
they just survived evolution with good vibes.
yeah, they're just hanging out, man. I'm just a fucking
Hey, man,
capybara, bro.
me,
Don't kill me, man. We can.
I know
hang
where to find
out.
the good kush.
But yeah, no, that movie was a wonderful experience. Watch with the family. I think anybody could enjoy it. Just a great
Yeah.
journey.
Quick
a lot
too. It's
of-
like 85 minutes long.
yeah, a lot of character development with no dialogue, with just animals. That
Mhm.
yeah, no, it was just good, man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Next movie I watched, talked a little bit with you guys about it when we watched the movie we were going to be talking about. Was that Property movie? The like workers' revolution on a
Oh,
farm
yeah. Mhm.
somewhere in South America. All in all, like it's a
What was this called?
property.
Property.
So it's this husband and wife going to tend to some property. They own this farm. The wife had been held at gunpoint, like the intro in the credits is a video of her being held at gunpoint by somebody, and then she's like emotionally scarred from that after the fact. But they go to this property because they are closing this property down because it's no longer profitable, and they have to. Somebody was already supposed to have told the workers that this was happening, but they didn't. So they go to do that. But when they go to do that, the workers have already kind of, like, the person that was supposed to tell them ended up killing themselves. And so then the workers, like, flipped the fuck out. Really, it was like a dude that had a bad thing happen to him, kind of murdered a character, then everything kind of fucking, rolled from there. I am, as the communist that I am, I'm all about, like, a workers' revolution, like, let's go. But, like, I really I just couldn't agree with any of these people at all. Because, like, at no point were there was no expression of them being treated super unfairly at all. Like, they lived there, like, there was a little bit of impression, like, one woman lost her son to an accident at a certain point. The one guy that started the chain reaction by murdering somebody had misused some chemicals and, like, lost his voice or something like that. But, like, they all owed the people. The people weren't just, like, not giving them what they need. They needed to get their, like, paperwork back. I don't know. It didn't, like, there was no justification for the situation at all. And, like, how quickly the people, once they, like, this murder happened that most of the workers they weren't really about. As soon as it happened, they're just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna go fucking take all these people's shit, go into their house, and yada, yada, yada. And so, like, as a person that's, like, who I am, but still a business owner, like, I really can't, I see both sides of it, and it's like, okay, this fucking farm is not profitable, so of course they're gonna fucking sell it. I mean, like, that's just the thing. Like, you're not, like, getting fucking shot, and buried in the back. You're just like, hey, go get a new job. And these people are just like, but we don't want a new job. But sorry, like, you're going to have to get a new job because this shit don't work no more. No, fuck that. We're going to take it. And so then the rest of it is like, they kill the guy. The woman gets trapped in this armored car that the husband just built. And that's the movie, is her in this armored car while these people fuck about, do whatever they want with this property, and try to kill her. And just, like, it doesn't end well, and you can't really get behind pretty much anybody. It was like, well made enough, but, like, it was just frustrating. It was frustrating to me, like, because I read the description, like, oh, workers revolt, let's go. And I'm just like, just everybody's an asshole. Like, fuck all of this. Fuck all of you people. This is just not cool. So, movies, whatever. Good enough filmmaking, but not super notable. Next thing I'm going to talk about and shit on is Anthony Mackie movie called Elevation.
Oh, what a generic title.
Yeah. No, so it's a post-apocalyptic monster movie, which I'm, like, always... Again!
Oh, I think I saw...
from the title.
No.
Oh, and see, it could be about mountain climbing. I would go to mountain climbing.
No, it's a shitty fucking title,
Isn't that
too.
the fucking Matt Damon movie that's about Michael Jordan?
Right.
That's Air.
So that
which
last
could also
movie,
be a space movie.
That last movie and this movie are two examples of things. It's just really frustrating. Like, okay, workers' revolution, let's go. I'm about this. Oh, that's disappointing. This thing is like a post-apocalyptic monster movie. Fuck yeah, let's roll. But it's like, it was just so fucking stupid. It was premised in the weakest, laziest way. So these creatures burrow up out of the earth and just murder the fuck out of people. But somewhere along the line, somebody figures out that at exactly 8,000 feet, they stop. So all humans go into the mountains. And what's frustrating about it is it's not like you could write that concept in a way that kind of works, right? Like, okay, like at, a certain altitude, they start slowing down and having a hard time and blah, 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 and they start failing and start dying or whatever. No, this is like when they're up in the mountains, there's a fucking line of sticks and rocks that they put up there that is 8,000 feet, and there are scenes where the animals are just like, whoa, nope, you stop right here. Stop right here. Can't go any further.
8,001.
No, not 8,001 at all. And this movie has so much, like, so many numbers.
If they did like a 7,846,
Yeah.
like I feel like it's a better movie right off the bat.
So I could buy it if the animals like started struggling at a certain elevation, but no, they're just like 100% prime and just stop.
Like a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't even make sense with elevation, though.
No, no.
Could they duck down and go further?
Yeah. No, and yeah. No, they kind of get into that with some bullshit later in the movie where they like this dude leads them through a mine shaft that like has to like dips down a little bit. Yada yada yada. But so the main character is Anthony Mackie, and his son is.
There's so many holes in this movie.
Oh, dude, so many.
They burrow, right?
This dude is his son is nondescriptly asthmatic something. He's on oxygen. So like running out of oxygen, has to go down, brave the lower altitudes to find the oxygen.
How immediate is it? Like you go to 7,999 elevate. Do they show up like right then?
They're all there. Yeah, as soon as you're out of it, they're basically there.
They're waiting for you.
Yeah.
They're
so
waiting for
what gets revealed by the end of the movie?
I've got so many questions.
Is that So what gets revealed, because they talk about it as the movie goes on, that like they don't kill any animals. So like they only kill people.
I feel like the biggest problem with this movie is 8,000. Like if you literally did any non-round number.
Well, so
it's way more believable.
Listen, it gets fucking worse, all right? So the main character gets the thing, hooks up with this chick that had gotten his wife killed on a hunt for a scientist chick that's been studying them, that has a way to defeat them and has this hypothesis that she can do this thing that will overcome them, yada yada yada. They go together, find the solution.
Just from your description, I feel like she's a really bad actress.
You know what? She's not the worst actress, I think. It's just a shitty movie. Anyhow, what it is, she says she lets you know that through her studies that really don't line up because this thing happened like so fast. Like and these things are indestructible, by the way. Like indestructible. Can't touch these motherfuckers.
As they are.
Ever, and they that's one frustrating thing too. They say that in the movie, like,
they are completely indestructible.
Bullets don't do shit, but we're gonna carry our guns around and we're gonna shoot at them all the time
that
for no
gets
reason.
So annoying in movies.
Whatever, but so her solution is to coat bullets with a certain compound because the creatures are electrically charged or have an electrical charge of their own. Another frustrating thing here.
So you put the right amount of protons with the neutrons.
Yeah. So here's the one thing that I point out when I was watching this movie. So she's like testing her bullets on like a plate of theirs, like an armor plate, like a scale, right? But I'm like, well, if they're electrically charged, the charge probably would have to come from the animal itself. So why would the plate still be electrically charged?
How'd they get the plate?
How'd they get the plate? No, holes everywhere, dude. Holes everywhere.
We killed one once, but never found a way to do it again.
Holes.
Yeah. So of course she, succeeds in this thing, and so from the description, I'm like, okay, so it's gonna make your weapons like viable, like you'll be able to shoot them and it'll hurt them. Okay, like that makes enough sense. No, one bullet dings off on one of these motherfuckers and they implode. Like violent implosion,
starts like a chain
explosion.
reaction in their body,
and it takes one little boop, and like pop, they're just done.
Well, then that's how the movie ends. Is they figure out how to do that.
Yes.
So it's just like exactly A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
We found their weakness. The end.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. But so what they reveal.
Quiet Place is like the end of A Quiet Place though is so good.
Oh yeah.
It's like they found it. It's
so
just like,
satisfying.
Like like fucking cocked a shotgun, pregnant chick.
Yeah.
Like
no,
got it now.
This was not nearly as satisfying. But so what's revealed, and this is what's even more frustrating, is that these things are, after they start imploding, they get to see the insides of them, and they're machines. So it's like, oh my god,
it's a twist.
And there's dialogue like, whoa, well who put them there? And the chick just kind of like looks up like, oh, aliens. why the fuck would aliens program machines to stop at exactly 8,000 feet? Because if they're just a machine that's programmed, all they have to do is clackety clack clack clack. Don't stop at 8,000 feet.
Well, and how did they get to Earth without being above 8,000 feet?
It's oh my god.
Something's coming from below. It must be something from above.
Yeah, no, it's like
What would the sequel be called? Elevationer?
it's one of the biggest pieces of shit I've
Elevation
seen in
2?
a long time. Like,
Can you imagine a real movie called Elevation 2? I cannot.
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, fuck that movie. And as always,
it'd be like Look Who's Talking. It'd be Elevation 2, like TOO.
Elevated? Would it be called Elevated?
yeah. So and as always, too, Anthony
Elevations.
Mackie was just as like bland and nondescript as he ever is. Like the dude had no character, no charisma. Just the guy he played. So yeah,
Elevationists.
There's
Here's a
like
piece
nobody in
of
this besides
shit.
Anthony Mackie that I recognize.
so
I don't think that he's somebody.
I think you were in the bathroom. I realized the Black Phone and The Gorge were directed by the same person.
That's fun.
all right. So next up on the list that I watched, the boys we were doing family movie night. KO wanted to watch some kind of fucking crime thriller. Broughton wasn't having it, so then he suggested Conan the Barbarian. So we watched Conan the Barbarian.
The
Which
Schwarzenegger one.
yeah, well, there's two. And
Yeah.
upon rewatching, I'm more familiar with the second, which I think is Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah.
This one has James Earl Jones as Thulsa Doom as the main villain, like cult leader, snake person, snake
Yeah.
mage, I guess. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I love sword and sorcery shit. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Early Arnold is hilarious to watch, like as he's tussling around and like fighting with people. Just the sounds this motherfucker made. just hilarious. But all in all, man, like it's pretty solid. It was more solid than I remembered it being. And James Earl Jones actually fucking, I mean, he's good.
Yeah.
His portrayal as the villain was pretty solid. A lot of the effects actually held up way better than I would have thought they would. There's a scene where Conan's like dead and they're summoning some spirits to like revive him. And yeah, it looked way better. It translated way better than I thought it would have. Just satisfying movie. Like this is one of those things. Like it's exactly what it is. And if you're down for the subject matter, I think it's hard not to enjoy it, even though it is a little dated and old school. I don't think anybody that's down for this subject matter would be mad about it at all. And it's better than the fucking reboot with Momoa for sure. Because that shit was just
generic.
Silly. I watched it when it came out, and then it was on the TV here at the shop the other day, or like a couple months ago, and I watched like the opening scene. It's like he shoots an arrow, and like the force from the arrow makes someone fly through like 2 fucking walls, and it's just like no.
You know who I think would be a
You know,
cool?
just no.
Maybe he's too old at this point, but I think Dave Bautista would be a badass Conan.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, that'd be sweet. And that's the thing.
Rock.
But there's versions of Conan that are older, right?
Yeah,
He could be
well,
an older.
dude. Conan the Barbarian is a very old thing. Like it started like as a short story in the 30s that kicked it off. He's got ass tons of books, I think, written by maybe Edgar Rice Burroughs. Ass tons of comics. Like the scope of Conan as a character and the universe that exists there is fucking huge.
Yeah.
So like there's a million takes on it, and nobody has done like a King Conan thing yet. And that
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a Conan TV show.
I think there's a really bad
We
one.
do. It's called
In the
Late
90s.
Night with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. No, I dug this movie. I think
He's
if
hosting
you-
the Oscars. You know that?
Oh,
Conan's hosting the
I
Oscars.
did not know that, but that is a reason to watch.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Oscars.
no,
I'm
that's
hoping
fucking
he just literally executes the other guy, Jimmy Fallon, live on stage at the Oscars, so he can never host again.
Yeah, fuck off.
Put him to death.
But yeah, so if you like that kind of shit, I think Conan the Barbarian's solid. I think the second one, Conan the Destroyer, gets more. It's a little bit more magic-y. There's a good amount of magic in this one, but
I
Not
just
as much.
purchased a movie called The Sword and the Sorcerer. Have you ever seen that one?
I think so. You got the
It's actually a pretty fun poster.
it's a fun movie, and what's funny, that sword shoots. In the movie, yeah, no, it legit looks like boop, boom, sword gun. No, it's got cool
played that
qualities
game.
to it. yeah, it's called Zelda. But yeah, no, it's a fun '80s sword and sorcery movie.
Yeah.
It's not one of the better ones, but it's not terrible. It's not like the one that's one of the rougher ones is Deathstalker. The first Deathstalker is like one of the rapiest fucking things you could ever watch.
Oh God.
Just too much. All right, so yeah, there's Conan. Really good film that I watched called Tigers Are Not Afraid. Watched it last night. Mexican Spanish language film set in Mexico. All about 9 to 11-year-old orphans surviving, just losing everything. Like just a
These
very
are orphan people, not tigers.
No, orphan kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the kid has he kind of tells a story, like an allegorical story about a tiger, and he kind of sees himself as a tiger.
So there are no actual tigers.
No
in this
actual
movie?
tigers. Well, there is
There's like
one
one
of
tiger.
one of the one of the children who has suffered such things that he no longer speaks carries around a little tiger stuffed animal.
Oh, okay.
And then gets shot by a Mexican gangster
Oh.
and then dies. And then see him as kind of a ghost, and the tiger becomes animated and like leads a character to certain things here or there. So that's the only tiger. It's a very sad fucking movie.
So
And it's
tiger is definitely more emblematic.
yeah, emblematic for sure. But dude, the performances from the kids, really good performances from these kids. It's pretty much the two main characters are a kid named Shine, who kind of runs this gang of orphan kids that are like 9 to 11 years old. And then a girl loses her mom after a day at school being shot up by, her school gets shot up by gangsters or gang warfare in the streets. And then her teacher gives her these 3 pieces of chalk and says she has 3 wishes. And so there's like a pseudo fantasy element to the film, and she kind of uses those wishes. One's kind of not a wish, but so the kid Shine ends up stealing a phone from a gangster, and then they are pursued because of what's on that phone, because it shows a politician doing some shit, and so then these kids have to survive being pursued by these gangsters, and then it ends up with a bit of vengeance taken on the dude that has been pursuing them. But just really good, man. Just a really genuine, earnest portrayal of suffering and survival, and yes, just a really fucking good film. Really, really good film. Like I said, the kids' performances were fantastic. Satisfying ending. It's fucking sad because a lot of these kids die. So you're gonna see some 9-year-old kids get shot. And so there is that. But so what happens in Mexico? Like pretty often, from what people tell me that are from Mexico that go down there. I've had people that I tattoo on that are from there and say, yeah, my fucking cousin or sister or aunt saw somebody get gunned down in the street. Like,
jeez.
So be thankful. This is a good film for any
Fucking
little
cartels.
crybaby American kid that's like, my life is hard. Like, here you go, watch this. Shut the fuck up.
2020 was the worst year in history.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was. I can't recommend the film enough. It was wonderful. So, and then that leads me to some stuff that me and Dustin watched together.
Yeah, so we'll take over my list now.
Yeah. If you want to kick it off, we'll talk together.
We watched Stripes,
Yeah.
The Bill Murray movie?
the Bill Murray movie.
My
I haven't
first
seen that in
time.
a long time.
It's fucking amazing, man. I mean, it's.
I
Pretty,
love Bill Murray.
It's pretty perfect. Like, it's one of the most perfect movies of his that I've seen for sure. Like,
Yeah.
It might be the best Harold Ramis.
yeah. I
like-
haven't ever seen that guy in shit. And like, he was much more fun in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Candy is actually like
Oh,
kind of like perfect in
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
playing like the fat guy military recruit. Like
Mhm.
Like he's so like token John Candy.
Oh yeah.
I love John Candy so much.
No, he's funny. It's easy to forget how much fun he is until you watch him in the movie, and it's like, God damn, this guy's.
Have you guys ever seen Canadian Bacon?
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch
Not
that.
in a long time.
I'm a huge John Candy fan, so we watched that, and then I'm telling you, this week if we got time to watch a movie, we're gonna watch Groundhog Day. Since John's so far out of Groundhog.
Yep.
No,
the fun thing about Stripes too is like I a lot of the lines I've heard so many times because some of my actually the two movies we're going to talk about that we watched together are fun because like hip hop artists that I like adore that are just the best hip hop artists ever use these as samples in so many songs constantly. So, yeah. So a lot of the shit from Stripes I've heard a million times on repeat.
Really?
Yeah.
Stripes had the one dude named Francis.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, my name is Francis. If any of you motherfuckers call me Francis, I'll kill you. and like that's his whole thing. It's like if anybody here touches me or any of my shit, I'll kill you. You know? And that's the whole thing. It's just like if you like look at me the wrong way, I'll kill you.
You
and like the drill sergeant is like, easy there, Francis. One of these men may save your life one day. And then Bill Murray howls in and he's like, then again, one of us might not.
That's great, dude.
It's so good. It's such a classic comedy line. And John's like, they totally used all that.
Yeah, for sure. Now it's fun too because
I love how sometimes rappers are just like, oh man, this shit's funny.
This
shit's going in my song.
The funniest thing about hip hop, man, is that they're fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Like most real hip hop guys.
I mean, like the Wu-Tang Clan.
No,
they're just fucking. Their rap group is just like a D&D party.
Yeah, no, they're fucking nerds. They're always
the Dark Ninja Assassin.
Yeah, they're always nerds, dude. They deep dive into such weird shit and like it's all comics, it's all film, it's all like it's wonderful.
So we followed that up the following week with another hip hop classic comedy, Office Space.
Yeah.
And,
Groundhog Day just kind of slots right in with what you guys were watching.
Yeah, for sure.
And to me, Office Space is like as good as it gets.
Dude, it's really fun.
A work comedy.
Yeah, no, it is.
Just the nonchalant, it's hard not to relate to the main character. Ron Livingston is like fucking killer in it.
Yeah.
It's a total Mike Judge show. Everything you would expect from a Mike Judge thing.
I just rewatched that like last year, the year before, and the first time I watched it, I was like 16. I was like, I guess it's
you
funny.
haven't been in the workforce.
Yeah. And then I rewatched it, and I was like, why did I watch this when I was 16?
Yeah. No, what's funny is it bridges, like, it doesn't matter what work you're doing. Like, this
I've never worked in an office, but it was extremely relatable.
Yeah, you never. I have not either, but I get for the thing that I do, I get the exact same vibes a lot of the time. Like it speaks to every worker, every person.
The best scenes in the movie are when he's meeting with the consultants that come in, the Bobs.
yeah.
The Bobs.
What would you say is your job?
He's like, it's not that I'm lazy; it's that I just don't care. He's like, don't care, and he's like, oh yeah, if I bust my ass, you put out a couple extra units, I don't see another dime. It's a problem of motivation, and they're just like, oh,
they're like, this guy's fucking upper management.
He gets promoted. Yeah. Oh my god. Shit.
No, it's great.
He's like, you haven't even been showing up to work. You got to keep your job. Actually, I got promoted. What? Yeah, it's not fair.
Yep. No, it's a hell of a movie to watch, dude. It will always hold up, no matter what. Like that thing is timeless.
It's just a fun ass movie. We talked about watching Clerks, but I think Groundhog Day.
I like that.
Groundhog Day takes precedence.
Yep.
So those are the two we watched together, and then the only other film I had to talk about was The Substance. We have finally completed the Triforce, and all of us have seen The Substance. We can talk about it.
Yes.
I can't believe this movie got nominated for Oscars, let alone Best Picture, Best Actress. Demi Moore just won Best Actress at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, by the way. Don't know if you guys saw that.
Right on.
I don't know how, but she did. Made me think a little less of the
I mean,
Screen Actors Guild
her
Award.
performance was
I
really
think
solid
she's
for
good.
what it
Like
was,
being
yeah.
old and rolling up in a ball naked and crying about your life is.
Well, it was.
a
I think
good
it's probably
performance,
more
I
like the
guess.
performance when she's cooking
sounds
and
like
going
you're-
fucking crazy.
That's a complaint about the script, though.
Yeah.
I could complain about a lot of things about this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad movie. It's a fine 3-star. It's a horror movie, I guess.
I think
and-
it's getting similar when I watched it. I think it's now in its like second wave of viewership, and it's getting people are going into it with like, this is an Oscar movie, and it's like it's not. It's
It's not an Oscar movie. Yes,
and I think
that was my problem.
Putting
Yeah.
undue.
I went in with an
pressure
Oscar
on it,
brain,
you know?
and I told you, like, I don't think it was bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was a fine movie, but there was nothing special about it to me.
I think there are special things about it.
And by the way, when you first told me about the movie, I was getting tattooed by you, and,
Yeah.
and you said like the movie is like 90% ass shots.
not 90, but
And-
there's a lot of
yeah.
gratuitous
the movie
ass.
is like fucking 90% ass shots.
It's
Yeah.
a lot
Like,
of
there is like
They
a
go
lot,
really hard on
what's
that
her
chick's
name?
ass.
Yeah.
Qualley,
Margaret
Qualley.
Qualley.
Like a good 20% of the movie is just like fucking zoom in on her ass.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like that does get a little redundant.
No, it did.
Which
it
she
did
has a
get
nice
tedious.
ass. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
no, I mean
lie.
it's an
She has a nice
immaculate
ass,
ass,
but, like, it
it
does get
takes
redundant.
it takes away from what you're trying to
I
do
don't-
here.
And it's a fucking gross movie, man.
No,
Like,
I don't
it's-
think. I wouldn't say. I don't think the. No, I do think the movie's overly long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I thought
they-
it was,
no,
I
you
thought
doesn't
it was
cut
supposed to
that.
end like 3 times before
Yeah.
it actually did.
Yeah.
And then like I don't want to get into spoilers, which it's hard to spoil this movie, but like when it gets into like the fucking monster at the end,
That's when it went.
the movie
I
the
love
movie
the
was
ending.
the movie was really fucking gross, and like the whole time it was gross.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I mean,
and like
probably starting
I
at
feel
about
like they thought,
15
you know,
minutes
Yeah, as soon as the transition happened.
yeah, it's like we've been really gross up till now. Like we can't just end it like we
Let's
need
get grosser.
well, we need to go like gross to the max to finish this.
Yeah.
So Molly fell asleep and missed like the last like 30.
I thought she didn't like violent movies.
I know. I talked her into watching it with me, and like
she probably you
about,
regret it.
at about the
Yeah.
1 hour mark, she's like, "This movie's really gross." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
yeah.
At the like 90-minute mark, she fell asleep, and then like the movie was over, and she heard me turning off the like Blu-ray player, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep." I'm like, "That's fine. It's fine that you fell asleep. Don't feel like you need to finish this movie."
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
No.
No,
'cause it just got grosser and grosser
Yeah.
as the thing went on.
No, I feel like it was a little drawn out. I don't hate the ending. I feel like they could have gotten to the ending they got to a little bit more efficiently and still told the same.
Yeah.
story.
There's so many unbelievables, and that like I don't even know where like to start picking it apart. Like it's pretty easy because
Well, so and that's
like the first off, it's like she was a big star. She got like a fucking Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and like you know, now she's getting older and she's not as sexy as she used to be, and she wants that like youth and vigor, and like she basically gets turned on to this program, which is, I don't know, apparently just some kind of like black market
yeah.
thing that's also free because she doesn't actually pay for it.
Yeah, it doesn't really like you don't. It
And
doesn't.
like she has to go
all
to
the
like
specifics
the
of that
bad
thing
side
don't
of
really
town
matter.
and go through this like shifty garage door. But once you enter the shifty garage door, it's actually like a really nice office
Right.
that has like a PO box for her to pick up her shit that she didn't pay for at any
Yeah.
point. The whole thing is like super ridiculous.
No, it is.
I
and
mean,
that's-
it's a
it doesn't
hyper
matter. though.
stylized movie.
There are like 9 calls to like the customer support, which is the same guy every time and doesn't help with anything ever.
Oh, of course he does.
And it's like, I
That's
don't
not the
know.
idea.
He basically says the same thing every time. It's like, why do you keep calling this guy? You know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to help you.
Well,
at
and
all.
that's the thing. Like, yeah, you could like pick some of that stuff apart. It doesn't matter where the shit comes from. It's just a storytelling mechanism. So it doesn't mean that much. They're not paying for the shit. That's a glaring thing that definitely can, like, that's a little annoying that she didn't do anything for it.
Yeah,
But-
she just like called the number and went to a
So,
strange
what-
place.
what
I don't
like-
see like the assumption to me was that she's paying for it. It's just that
No, yeah,
you
you
don't
can
you don't
assume
need
it.
to see her
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2,
Yeah. No, fair enough.
5.
She
Three-
does she
Yeah.
like
Absolutely. You don't need to
They-
see that. And
Yeah.
you don't
I'm
need to
telling
know
you,
where it comes
I'm telling
from.
you,
don't
as
need to
somebody
know
who
what
watched
sets
it
up.
with that Oscar eye, she didn't pay for it. Like I'm literally telling you, the only contact she had with the place was like, yeah, I'm interested. Oh, you would like to place an order? Yeah, go to this address.
Yeah.
And then she went to that address and like, or she got a thing in the mail and she went to that address and like, there's never a point where she was given the opportunity to pay for this. She was just like,
Yeah, but there's
I
also
want
never
this.
a
They're
point
like,
where
this is where
she
you
gives
go.
them her address, right? There are super
No, that happens. That literally like all that happens. All the things that lead to her getting the thing
I
happens.
felt like I tried to warn you not to go into this with an Oscar eye. It's
Yeah.
not an Oscar movie, and I feel like you're judging
Well-
it through an Oscar lens.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not judging it. I'm judging it separately. Like as a horror movie, as a movie, it's a 3-star movie. It's like it's a decent horror movie. It's got the same problems that every other horror movie has.
I think it's a perfectly fine horror movie. I think it
But, like,
may
it's-
not be an Oscar movie, whatever that means. But as an artist,
It's not actually a good movie. Like there's so many fucking holes.
no, I
in
think
it.
it's
Like,
I think it's a
You're-
perfectly fine movie.
The
It's
ho-
a
I don't.
good
The
movie.
holes you're talking about are either really irrelevant to the movie or don't matter at all. I don't
The
know. Like
purpose, in my opinion, as an artist,
what
the
do you think
purpose
is good about it?
of this movie is
I-
the
okay,
experience.
I
Just the ass
put it
shots
on the
and-
level
and,
of
like,
Get Out in that I
and-
think it's a
and we-
really
we-
great horror movie that did
Oh.
not need any Oscar attention, but got
being
Oscar
old
attention
sucks and
because
like,
it was
it's-
extremely
You
popular.
want to hang on like I
No,
don't
so
know.
what the
I
film
just-
what the
I got
film is
nothing out of this
what the movie is doing, it's criticizing that entire industry. That's what this is. It's a critique of the entire industry. Because none of the characters are remotely good people. Like, she's not a good person because she's trying to hang on to something that's died, and she's so vain that she's going to do whatever she can to take it. The young version of her is so vain that she's happy to be exploited for the sake of it.
She's also extremely selfish.
Yeah, no, she's super selfish, happy to be a fucking whore, like throws herself at it, being a whore. The people at the head of all this thing are just using everyone. Like, it's what
Very
the movie
blatantly.
Yeah, what the movie is doing, in my opinion, from what I took from it, is it's just shitting all over what
Yeah,
this
because it's
our
all
industry
gross.
is.
I mean, because like
it's all gross.
one of the
That was whole
earliest
point.
gross
It's all
scenes. In fact,
gross.
maybe even the earliest gross scene is it Dennis Quaid eating?
yeah.
And that scene's disgusting,
So-
and he's
and
just
that's-
eating.
The scene with him eating shrimp is
Yeah.
one of the grossest scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
The-
like
the
no
entire
visual
movie is just
effects.
gross.
So
It's gross on gross on
I
gross.
think that, to me, it's a good piece of art. I know what it's trying to say. I know what it's trying to do. If you want to break down technically the filmmaking, I think it still has legs. And as far as the cinematography,
I'm saying fuck this movie, and I'm not just saying it for the filmmaking. I just think that like I don't see what the message is. I think there's so many fucking holes. Not even
no, there's a
not
shit ton of
even with an
holes, but the
Oscar
holes
eye.
don't matter though. That's this
Like, they
this
do
thing's
matter.
an
They always
experience.
matter. Like how can you?
Okay,
like,
do you
why does it
watch
get a
do you
pass?
watch Get Out and say,
It
now
doesn't
wait
get
a
a
minute,
pass.
you can't transfer personalities to a different body by putting a brain,
Comparing to this to Get Out is like a fucking huge disservice.
I want to know
Like-
why you are not being, because the plot holes you're bringing.
It's like Get Out is just a way better movie.
Okay, I'm not discussing the quality. I'm saying you are not forgiving things about this movie that you would forgive about other movies for no
I'm
reason.
not saying that. I'm saying other movies don't go. Like,
Okay, what's a plot hole in The Substance?
we're gonna go through this again.
What's a plot hole?
Okay. One. She's a big star that does an exercise thing.
How's that a plot hole?
Okay, so
Well, she was a big star.
So
the last thing she had was
the
that.
next hot thing is some chick that runs a morning exercise thing.
Okay, so yeah, the movie is pretty like
who is this in real life? Like who's like?
it's not taking place
is it
in
Richard-
our modern
is it
world.
Richard Simmons?
It doesn't matter. The point is she's famous. She got famous from being an
Okay,
exercise person.
She's
That's
at
not
the
a
end
plot
of her
hole.
fame. The point is she's clinging to some semblance of what used to be fame because she hasn't been famous or important or relevant since her film. She's been hanging on to this last thing that is anything
the movie
that no one
says-
actually gives a shit about.
Dennis Quaid says we're looking for the next big thing. He gets excited because the next big thing is another workout person. That tells you this isn't. You're not viewing this as a real world. This isn't. We don't live in a world currently.
I saw a bunch of gross shit and a bunch of ass shots, and like, I think the movie's kind of bullshit.
It's fine if you were grossed out and didn't like the movie, but I don't understand why you do this thing where like I'm not saying it's a bad movie, and then 2 minutes later you're like, no, it's a bad movie. Like you just dig in your heels.
It's a horror movie. That's all it is a horror movie. And I think all horror movies are bad movies.
You think
that's
The
not-
Witch is
that's not
bad?
fair.
Like, I don't think The Witch is a horror movie.
What is it?
I don't know. It's a
The
fucking
Witch
good
is-
movie with
The
horror
Witch is
elements.
absolutely a horror movie, and The Witch is not even.
I
What's
don't-
so
you
much
pick
better?
these
I don't think
genres
The Witch is
and
great.
you
I just
belittle
think
them
horror
for no
movies
reason.
are kind of shitty, and like, I don't think this rises above. I think there are some that rise above, and I don't think this is one of them.
That's fair enough.
I'm not arguing that it doesn't deserve to be Oscar nominated. I don't think it's an Oscar movie. It's just in that category where the Oscars go, this was popular. We're going to give it
you know what?
Oscars.
Let's turn this around. Instead of like you putting me on the defensive, why is this movie so great?
I like it for a lot of reasons. I like a lot of horror movies. I think it was really fun and entertaining
Okay,
and
this should be
unusual
good then.
and
Let's
different.
start naming them.
Naming what?
All the reasons that this is such a great movie.
The whole point is I'm saying you're over scrutinizing it. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece. I'm saying I enjoyed it and you are being overly critical towards it just because
I'm not.
of
I'm being
arbitrary
overly
reasons.
critical because I don't think it's that great. Like I don't think it's a bad movie, but like, I don't. It's not a bad movie for a horror movie.
Okay.
It's all about.
That's what it is.
It's all about perspective.
And John told me the first time he watched it, he's like, this movie is like, it's like a whole bunch of ass shots and like. And watching it, it's just like he's right. It's mostly just
I
ass
included
shots.
that, but I also said that I do appreciate what the film.
There are
is
more
doing.
ass shots in this movie than there are sex in the fucking lesbian movie.
Yeah, I know that part was super.
But that's
I
an
would like you to-
artistic choice.
I
I,
would-
don't understand. Like, if you don't like it, that's fine.
No, dude,
But that's not.
I
That's
like
not
seeing
a
her
reason
ass,
the movie's
but,
bad.
I've got fucking like you porn.
Yeah, but do you ever stop to think like there's a reason they're showing me so much ass? Like there's a purpose behind this story? Or do you just go, this ass is on screen for me to look at?
It's a body horror movie. Yeah. Okay. So you think I'm like too dim? I didn't catch the whole thing. Like she's unhappy with her body and it's all about like the body. Like I get all that.
It was
I
still
just don't think it's fucking interesting. And I don't think that they did anything different.
That's the thing
or
that frustrates
unique.
me with the movie is so I there are all kinds of things about this film that I like also. And again, I like what they're saying because I agree with what they're doing and what they're saying. What they're saying is that a lot of the film industry and a lot of just a lot of the popular entertainment industry,
Culture.
not the film,
Yeah.
popular culture, popular entertainment culture is vapid, maniacal bullshit. That's what they're saying with the film. And I think that the amount that they spent on that, while I think maybe somebody could argue that it's for the sake of contrast to like dial in the grossness, that's the best argument somebody could make probably, it was like fucking it takes away from what the film is trying to actually do. And a lot of the things that the film is trying to say, they were shooting themselves in the foot in trying to say by distracting with so much of this. Like they could have toned a lot of the shit in the film to better express the
I feel like
idea.
we always disagree on this. I don't think nudity and close-up shots of bodies are there to be just, gratuitous, yes, for what the movie's saying,
I'm not saying
but
that
not
they're-
like,
I have
aren't
no-
these
I have
bodies
no pro-
hot?
I have
No, that's what
Like,
I'm saying.
I
Like,
have no problem
I
with
do.
my problem is the shots of the nudity and the is like the best parts of the movie.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean,
No, I'm not.
I mean, there's a scene where they at the end, spoilers, where they just spray blood over people
Yeah.
for like fucking 4 minutes straight, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
No, the thing is supposed to be
it's
over
like
the top.
The movie was just trying to be gross.
The
and
thing
that's all
is,
they were trying to do.
yeah, well, it's
And then
trying
we're like,
to shock.
Fucking, let's give them an Oscar.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying that the nudity and the ass shots were for trying to be gratuitous. I think they had real, genuine intention. What I'm saying is that I feel like they could have toned it down a little bit to not take away from what they were trying to say, to not allow for hyperfixation on the gratuity of what those were. They would have toned them down just a smidge.
I just think those are choices. Those
No,
aren't.
I know
like,
they're choices. I know
but
they're
I mean,
choices.
like,
That's what I'm saying. I understand that they're choices. I'm just saying that they made the choices, and now it leads to thus kind of scrutiny because of the choices they made. And what I'm saying as an artist is if you could have dialed that back a little bit, still had the same effects, still included the same things, and maybe received a little less scrutiny from a certain number of people. Again, I still like what the film is saying. I still like the film myself. I do, absolutely. I don't even want to judge this movie as a horror movie. I think it's just a movie. I don't judge horror as
C
horror
for me.
movies.
It's a C plus maybe. It's 3 stars.
It's not like the best
See,
film
that's
in the
pretty
world,
decent. But then you immediately turn around and be like, actually, it's bad. It sucks.
Because
I hate it.
you're starting me out. Like, I have to defend the other side of it because this movie is not.
Movies don't need a devil's advocate for why they're bad. Movies are always aiming to be
Reese,
tell a story.
This movie, there are a million horror movies that are better or on par with this.
I don't choose the Oscars.
They didn't get nominated for 8 Oscars, so I'm gonna. That's what's current. It got nominated for a bunch of Oscars.
See, that's the thing.
I have to defend the Oscars.
For me,
Why do you have to defend the Oscars?
For me as a person,
I don't have to defend the
consumes-
Oscars. I have to defend people and in society and the Oscars is bullshit.
If you want to say this, if you are normally a person who would watch his Oscar-nominated movies thinking that you are going to like them, yes, hesitate and do some research.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point entirely. My point is that this is I went into this movie like I would go into any other horror movie, and then I watched it and I'm like, this is there are a million horror movies that nobody's ever heard of that are better than this in a lot of ways.
But they probably didn't have $5 billion.
And then you throw
that's what a lot of it is.
The fact that you've got fucking these stars in it. And this isn't new name star. These are stars that are established, and then you got all these all this publicity behind it, and it's just what is the deal? This is just another horror movie.
I mean, I really think it's mostly just the advertising that got it nominated for Oscars. It was a huge hit, and I don't even know how, because it wasn't really available for people in our area to watch until a month ago. I guess it's just played in theaters in LA for 5 months, because I feel like I've been hearing people talk about it all year. And then the studio saw that they had a chance to really make a name, and they put a shit ton of money into the Oscar campaign. And it's a weird, honestly mediocre year for movies. And so a big audience favorite that has some money behind the Oscar campaign is going to have a chance. But I'm not gonna.
I mean, horror movies and fantasy films are notoriously snubbed from the Oscars, and it's and that's part of it is you get oh fuck, something actually broke through. It's nominated for all kinds of shit, and you watch it, and you're just what the fuck? This is just every other fucking movie.
But then remember,
why didn't Ticks get nominated for Best Picture? What
It's
why didn't
better than
Nosferatu
that.
get nominated for Best
There is
Picture?
real filmmaking. There's real cinematography. There's
I guess
there's real
I
filmmaking
guess,
elements to this film.
It's
It's a horror movie. I don't know. For me, my perspective, it's all that you guys keep buzzing about Oscar. I don't give a fuck about what some random
care
fucking
that you don't
people.
give a fuck. I'm just saying.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that that's rating, right? That makes it rated really high, right?
I mean, I suppose so. Yeah.
We're putting it on a tier where we're putting it with
if you happen
legendary status, and
if you happen to
I feel like there are a fucking million horror films that have a million themes that are more interesting.
But that's I mean,
a lot of it's just time and place and atmosphere.
You can't really control that. I mean, I think it's for the Oscars forever have to live in shame.
I actually felt the same way watching this movie as I felt watching Requiem for a Dream. Like it's a really hard movie.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not gonna go rewatching The Substance anytime soon.
Yeah, hell no. It's a one and done for sure.
Like, you're just gonna fucking be its defender over there the whole episode. It's cool. I
think it's a good movie. I'll probably rewatch it.
Even the scene where they're like injecting a fucking giant needle into a thing that looks like you should probably not put any more needles into that.
Yeah, like it looked literally exactly like the scene from Requiem for a Dream.
I had flashbacks. You know, like this is a really uncomfortable, like unsettling thing that I'm watching.
No, I think it is.
Sorry I didn't get your Blu-ray back to you, by the way.
That's okay.
It's at my house. So.
I'm not in a rush. It is kind of like an emotionally and viscerally exhausting movie to watch. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it is.
I will say at first I was a little like I had a little bit of like, man, I shouldn't ask Molly to watch this movie with me.
That was a mistake, I'll say.
Yeah, but then she fell asleep, and then like I'm getting to the ending, and she's like, ugh, I'm glad she's not awake, because like even I think this is like way too much. Like the whole like fucking like when they like what is it? The thing you're only supposed to do once, like when they reactivate, and it turns into like the monster. And it's like like this is like some wacky like trauma shit at that point.
That's the thing. The film, it's not just the film is saying something. It has a thing to say. It is saying a thing, and that's why it's better than just a random film of grossness. It's not Toxic Avenger. You know, it's actually fucking saying something.
I do think it's like reveling in the grossness
no,
on
it
the
is.
level of
it
Toxic
is,
Avenger.
It is for the sake of it, for sure, and that's again, in my opinion, the point of it, because it's acknowledging how gross popular media is.
Yeah.
That's the point of the film, is it's acknowledging that. And like, if a thing is actually trying to say something, in my opinion, it's art. Whether or not it's worthy of some award, that's all fucking relative and speculative. But I would say the thing that I would say and defend about this movie is that it is an attempt
I know
at
you don't
art.
get Oscar culture. I'm not really talking about whether or not it's worthy for an award. I'm just like
as far as the Oscars go, I have nothing to say about the Oscars.
I'm just like historically, like horror movies don't get nominated.
Yeah, no, I know.
It is like less than 1% of all
and like
Oscar
the horror movies
fine.
that have gotten nominated are like fucking Linda Blair and The Exorcist and like Haley Joel Osment and Sixth Sense, and these aren't like it's like an old timer that's like kind of more of a thriller and like a thing that's like not even really a horror movie, you know? Like
no, I understand that.
It's just
and
not recognized.
I understand that that's what happens, but the thing that as a fan of the genre that acknowledges exactly what the genre is, it doesn't mean just because a movie is a horror movie, it can't be either one, a good movie, or two, an actual piece of art just because it's horror. Like, horror movies aren't all just shit, and they can actually be art, and it depends. I think this one is art, in my opinion, because it's actually trying to say something. Whether or not it's a great movie, well, that's all fucking relative.
You could also say it probably got a lot more Oscar attention because the Oscars do notoriously love movies about making movies.
I think it's fucking hilarious too because this whole thing
making movies.
Yeah, they love movies about Hollywood and filmmaking. And
this whole thing is about
even
vanity.
If it's negative.
It's hilarious to me anyway because this whole thing is about fucking vanity and about this failing person trying to maintain her youth. Like the actress has obviously like had oodles of shit done trying to maintain her youth.
That doesn't feel like hypocritical.
Nothing like she used to.
It just feels like that's just a more evidence towards the message they're telling.
Yeah, no, I know, exactly. But I mean, the movie's not like fucking the most amazing thing. It's I think it's solid, and I think it tried to say something, and I agree with what it said.
I would have rather Nosferatu get the best picture
I think as far as like
horror
being in any kind of award talk, Nosferatu or
Nosferatu makes way more sense.
I mean, it got a bunch of it got like nominations, so it was on the radar. I just don't see why it wouldn't be in the conversation unless they just didn't put the money behind it.
Somebody blew somebody. I'm telling you, like that is not a best picture nominee.
It's just money.
It's like the
bit.
Why didn't the Human Centipede get nominated for an Oscar? Like,
I mean, there's nothing
that movie-
redeemable about that movie. That movie sucks.
was gross. Like, why didn't it get nominated?
I think there is something to say that it is the first like big movie that Mubi MUBI has produced, and so they are probably seizing the opportunity.
They probably are sucking
and putting
somebody
a
off.
shit
Yeah, I did
ton of
notice
money
that
behind
the movie.
Yeah,
At the beginning, of
I think
the
they've literally
Blu-ray-
only produced like 2 other movies. So the fact that they got a spotlight with this one, you got to take advantage of that because you're going to get like 10,000 new subscribers.
So before we get to my features, I have a few series that I want to go over.
Is this one of them?
What? No, but
okay.
that is a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I figured John watched it too, and I wanted to all talk about it together.
We'll talk about it. Common Side Effects. Animated series.
Yeah, I haven't finished it, but I watched.
Well, it's ongoing.
It's
so
ongoing.
There's only 5 episodes out.
Yeah, I think
currently.
I'm like 3
Okay.
or 4.
Really good series about some like funky mushrooms that like heal everything.
Yeah,
And-
It's
well,
really
I mean,
good.
it's really about like,
animated. It's comedy. It's Mike Judge. So if you like Beavis and Butthead / Office Space, this is definitely up
It's-
your alley. It's a little smarter than
it's
that.
way smarter
Yeah.
than it's as
I don't
smart
know,
as
man, like-
Office Space. Not way. It's way smarter.
I think that Mike Judge stuff is like, while it comes across as stupid, it's always way smarter than what people give it credit for.
No, that's
But
fair.
I love that this is succeeding in the comedy, but it's also like a really good story, like thriller.
No, it is, and it highlights exactly like the pharmaceutical industry and just like the real status quo of the first world. Like you have something
Yeah.
that helps people. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. You can't help
Everyone at
people.
every turn is like fucking trying to hinder his progress.
Yeah,
And it's so
exactly, like-
frustrating.
Here's this thing that just fucking heals the sick. Like nope, fuck
Yeah.
that. We can't have that.
Kill him. Send him to prison. Hurry.
Yeah.
So I got a few more. I also wanted to renote Severance.
Yes.
Been still going down that rabbit hole for season 2, and like, man, like this is a series that just knows how to fuck with your head, and like Reese said in the last episode that like it's like season 1, you're just like fuck, I don't know what's going on, and then like they end it in a way where you think, well, is all the mystery gone, and then season 2 is like you feel like you know even less about what's going on than you did in season 1.
It almost makes me a little nervous how many more questions keep getting asked and not answers. But I'm still having trust in the show. It is just so fucking good.
So season 3 of The White Lotus just started on HBO. Have you guys ever seen?
I watched the first 2, and I've been.
It's so fucking good.
I really don't know anything about what's happening in the new season.
It's the same shit that happens in the
Is that-
other
is
season.
that an HBO Max show?
Yeah.
Yeah, so season 1 was a mini series about a resort called the White Lotus in Hawaii, and then it was only supposed to be a mini series, but like it went over so well and people loved it so much that they're like, well, we're just gonna make it like an anthology series.
It's
And
also
there are White Lotus resorts in every fucking.
So the next one's second season's in Italy,
Okay.
and then is it Taiwan?
It's Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah. And so like basically the first episode of every season, and it's like they're short. Like I want to say they're like 6 to 8 episodes or something like each season.
Yeah, definitely not 10.
But like the first episode the first scene starts with some like in the middle of like some like nonsense. Like
Right.
I think this one starts with like machine guns going off like
yeah.
at a fucking resort, and you're just like, what the
Right.
fuck? And like you see some dude who's like at the resort like hearing gun fire all
Right.
around and like trying to duck for cover. And then like it rewinds and you go like 1 week earlier, and it's like, and then you have all these people coming to this resort to like stay for vacation.
Right.
And like, so the entire series is leading up to what got us to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
like,
always
so-
fun. I like
The
that.
second season is like, oh no, a body just washed up on the beach, and then
Yeah.
3 days earlier, and it's just the whole season like,
it's
who's gonna
so the whole
die?
time you're watching
Yeah.
is like what's going, like all these people are shady as fuck. So which one's
Yeah.
actually gonna
No,
snap?
it's
you
a
know?
fun mechanism.
And
yeah.
and the
But
fact,
really, that's like that's just kind of like the little sprinkle. It's really just like character interactions and stuff.
and that's what's beautiful about it is the thing I love about it is I've always hated the idea of like I had this plan for this thing and I made it.
Yeah.
And people watched it and loved it. And then they were like, man, people watched it and loved it, and they watched it a lot, and we made a lot of money. You need to do it again.
Yeah.
And so I'll give you more money to do it again. And like
exactly the same.
And it's like, if you didn't plan to make more, then like normally that's not a good recipe. But like they didn't plan to make more, and they've done it, and it's like so fucking good every time. So
also, it's
kudos to the White Lotus. If you have HBO Max, you should definitely check out.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons are great. They're only like 2 or 3 episodes into the 3rd season right now, and
huge ensembles.
Really good.
All of them are just
that'll be a good
amazing ensembles.
The big one in this is what's it from? What's his fucking name? From Justified and
Elephant.
No, not Elephant. The other guy. The Righteous Gemstones
from Fallout.
Yeah.
Walton Goggins.
I'll watch anything with Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
I'm ready to go.
Walton Goggins is definitely the main draw in this one.
Oh,
hell
God, yeah. Now I just got to watch the others to catch up to that because I want every Walton Goggins.
So are there any returning characters?
So the one guy, the one like shitbag like bald guy that like kind of like took the rich fat lady for all of her money.
Yeah.
He's the only He's the only one that's been in every season.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's
and he's just like a fucking dirtbag character that like is just propping off everybody.
Do you know who that actor was?
I don't know what his name is.
I don't know the name. It's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
It's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite is the only person who's in all
completely unrecognizable though.
Yeah. So then the last series I wanted to I want to mention the last one's a shout out, but I want to mention this series that I watched. It's only 6 episodes, and I think it's a full first season. It's already been literally the last episode ended with "to be continued," and it's already been like, I don't know if it's like the second half of season 1, but they've already shot it. Like, because at the it said to be continued.
What was the show?
So it's called 1,000 Blows, and it is from the makers of
another
Peaky
porno
Blinders.
you watched?
It's what?
I said, is this another porno you watched?
No. It's a period. It's based in 1880, fucking London. And it's kind of based around bare knuckle boxing, right about the time when boxing was becoming a legitimate sport.
Right.
And so it's definitely got some like Peaky Blinders, like London underworld crime elements to it. But the main characters are 2 guys that arrive as immigrants from Jamaica. And like there's some definitely racial undertones, and everybody like wants to call them African because they're black, but really they're from Jamaica, which is not even but I don't know.
I'm sorry. Are you implying that racists are uninformed? That doesn't sound possible.
What is this? But anyway, the actual gang element is like this band of it's like a gang of women thieves that the Jamaicans kind of take to.
It's fun. And
the leader of this band of women thieves, I'm not really familiar with. I've never seen her in anything else, but and she's not like a real looker. Like, she's not like the sexiest woman ever, but she just is very believable as somebody who would be a like leader of this band of thieves and like
genuine.
So this is one that Molly brought to me.
Hideous.
Like, she brought this series to me, and like it's fucking like we blazed through all 6 episodes in a Sunday. Like, really fucking good.
This says Disney Plus. Is it on Disney?
No, it was on Hulu.
Oh, okay. It's probably Disney Plus in other countries.
But really, really fucking good. I highly recommend it. If you liked Peaky Blinders,
it
definitely has some similarities.
I have to watch that.
And the last thing...
There's going to be a movie of that.
Oh, is it?
Like a spinoff.
The last thing I want to mention is I brought up the Screen Actors Guild Awards earlier. There was actually a sweep in the SAG Awards, and that sweep was the mini series that I brought up several times last year, Shogun.
Oh, yeah.
it literally won everything that it was nominated for.
Damn.
Like it won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best TV series.
Yeah, I still need to watch that too.
It's fucking phenomenal. It's beautiful. Everything about it is perfect.
I don't think I realized Screen Actors Guild was TV shows too.
Yeah, they do. So the one thing I like about the SAG Awards is they do ensemble cast.
Yeah.
For everything. Yeah. So it's kind of like
that's a great award.
It is. Yeah. They do ensemble cast, and they do like ensemble cast in a comedy ensemble cast and a drama ensemble cast and a series.
Do you remember what won for the movies?
Not
off the top of your head.
Yeah,
it's probably like A Complete Unknown and Wicked.
No, I don't remember, but I don't think I don't think that's correct. So
I don't know how.
I do know that as far as like
mainstream.
Best Actress, Demi Moore did win for The Substance. So
I thought her
the one that was on
performance when she
Netflix?
got into it was solid. I thought she gave a good performance.
Was the award show streaming on Netflix with Kristen?
yeah, I think so.
Kristen Bell?
Yeah,
Stewart?
I believe so. Yeah, Timothy Chalamet won Best Actor for Complete Unknown too,
Yeah.
which he's going to win Best Actor in the Oscars too because it's the best performance of the year.
I'm sure he's going to win, but I can't imagine she's going to win at the Oscars.
Oh fuck no! I can't imagine that either. I would be shocked if that movie actually won an Oscar. Yeah, but that's all I had for what I've been watching. But we did watch 2 movies for the feature
Yes.
this
Here we are.
this week.
To the future.
Here we are.
And this is the Count of Monte Cristo episode.
The Counts
Count 'em.
Monte Cristo.
The Counts of Monte Cristo. We watched the 2002 and the 2024 versions
Click
of
the
the Count of
poster
Monte Cristo.
button.
Yeah. Huh?
Poster button.
Oh, the poster button.
Poster.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I thought you were saying
Anyway,
you
if you
hadn't
want to
been
start
recording or
reading
some
the stuff,
yeah,
well, let's just do both of them together.
yeah, it's probably going to be pretty similar.
Oh, wait,
That
what?
one, yeah, it wouldn't let me resize it.
Huh?
One more up. There you go.
There we go.
Bam.
There you go. The Count of Monte Cristo, 2002, directed by Kevin Reynolds. Edmond Dantes's life and plans to marry. Is it clogged again?
Anyway, continue.
Yeah.
Edmond Dantes's life and plans to marry the beautiful Mercedes are shattered when his best friend Fernand
Dago.
deceives him. After spending 13 miserable years in prison, Dantes escapes with the help of a fellow inmate and plots his revenge, cleverly insinuating himself into the French nobility. The tagline is, "Prepare for adventure, count on revenge."
All right, and go ahead and do the 2024.
2024. Directed by Alexandra Delle Patereux and Mathieu Deleporte.
Yeah, I didn't write down any names.
Yeah.
Edmond Dantes becomes the target of a sinister plot and is arrested on his wedding day for a crime he did not commit. After 14 years in the island prison of Chateau d'If, he manages a daring escape. Now rich beyond his dreams, he assumes the identity of the Count of Monte Cristo and exacts his revenge on the 3 men who betrayed him.
All right, so
And the tagline is,
Oh yeah.
"This is not vengeance. This is justice."
Oh, God, that's.
I like the American one more, actually.
Yeah.
I like everything about the American one more. We'll get into that. I'm gonna start with. We've kind of like ever since I assigned this, we've kind of been talking about like the new one because
Yeah.
you know, and then like we've been referring to the 2002 one as the original, even though we know it's not the original.
It's like the
But-
20th or something.
Yeah. Do you guys know how many times this movie has been made?
No.
Like,
No.
You guys want to take a guess?
Counting these two,
Yeah, counting these two.
Talked about another one.
I
It was
would
from, like, the
guess
30s.
15.
15. Wow, that's a huge guess, John.
I would. So like there was like 4 different versions of Wizard of Oz before the one we
Yeah,
all know.
yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of guessing.
And I probably 6.
All right. Here's the history of this movie. Well, this book written by Alexander Dumas.
Dumbass.
Well, there's a reference to it in The Shawshank Redemption. which is actually very kind of a tone to the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
But there is a huge reference to
So
it.
he doesn't get the
because,
revenge.
It's like Andy Dufresne is like building the library,
Uh-huh.
and he gets like a couple of his buddies to help him build the library, and he's like, "Where does this one go?" And he's like, the Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumbass, and he's like, "It's Dumas." He's like, "You'd like that one? It's about a prison break." He's like, "Oh, so I should put it under what was it, like educational?" But anyway, so the Count of Monte Cristo has been, the first time it was like put on film was in 1912.
Wow.
And then again in 1913.
Okay.
And then there was a series in 1918.
A series.
Then there were movies in 34, 42, 43, 54, 58, 61,
God damn.
75. There was a mini series in 1998. And then the most recent, a movie in 2002 and a movie in 2024.
Is that like the biggest gap without
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
13
There's 100
close.
years of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, over 100 years.
Yeah.
So
That's intense.
I think one thing we can say is, why is this so repeatable?
Yeah.
It's got to be Alexander Dumas, like telling a story that's so fucking satisfying.
Yeah, the
right?
story is good. The story is
like,
just solid.
It's like the ultimate revenge.
100% justified.
Yeah.
100% justified, and like it's not just like he took my life,
Yeah.
so I had to take theirs.
He stole my girlfriend.
It's like
Yeah.
The thing I've always loved, and the reason I picked this was I love the 2002 version. I think Jim Caviezel is, for the most part, not great, but he's really good in this.
Yeah, I really wish he would have been British.
Yeah.
I think the fact that everyone in the movie is British and then he's American.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
also,
but his performance, even with that aside, like
I
because
agree with that.
he does play two performances. He plays, fucking Edmond Dantes, and he plays the Count of Monte Cristo. And,
Yeah.
and to me, of these two movies, that's like where I saw the biggest difference. Like, you can just show me a still shot, and I can tell you the difference between it. Like, I mean, his fucking mannerisms. Like,
yeah,
he seems like a really stupid person. As
Yeah,
Edmond
yeah.
Dantes. And like
he
is
does
not
pull off the
capable-
transformation.
He's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
the character Edmond Dantes is not capable of pulling off the plot that he pulls off.
Yeah.
You know? And like it's believable.
No, he plays it well for sure. It's very distinct.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about both of them.
Yeah.
I watched this probably like 3 times when I was very young. It was a popular one in my house. I honestly would have guessed it was like 2 hours 40 minutes long. I don't know. I think
Right.
it's so compact in its storytelling. It is. I really like it. I think it holds up. I think it's a really well told version of the story. I am talking about the 2002 version, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, but I think all of the casting is really good. I do wish. I think ultimately Jim Caviezel is serviceable. I just wish
Yeah, there
it
could
was
have
a
been
better fit,
There could have
maybe
been
in casting. I don't know.
someone else, but
Yeah, Guy Pearce fucking owns
Guy
it.
Pearce fucking killed it. Yeah, his
Yeah.
performance is fantastic.
This was like this and the Time Machine were like what I knew Guy Pearce for
Right.
originally. And
Have you seen LA Confidential?
I have, but it was much later. These two movies. I mean, Time Machine and Monte Cristo. I watched quite a bit.
So of the two, I definitely prefer the 2002.
Yeah,
2002 version.
I do too.
I do like them both. I think there's a lot of the elements of the filmmaking were a lot better in the more recent.
Yeah.
But I think the storytelling, while there were campier moments in the earlier one, I thought that they hit the story and the pacing of the events in the story in a more satisfying way.
Yeah.
That made the whole thing a lot more believable. While it was like there's a bit more flair, it's still like you see more of the growth in the first film
Yeah.
than the second. Like there's
Definitely
talk.
see the learning.
Yeah, he says, "I'm going to teach you," and he's like, "Cool," and then he's learned.
Yeah.
And then you get right into the rest of the story because they don't spend much time there because they spend more time on the later end. And he's just not as believable as he is in the first one. Like
They don't really. I mean, they do the shot of showing how skinny he is, and it's like 2 shots or something. But you just don't see the transformation.
No, there isn't much of a transformation.
You don't see the mental transformation.
Well, and
you
just
see the
gains,
makeup transformation.
He
We'll talk
gains
about that later.
random skills that don't make any sense. The skills he gains in the earlier film, like you see him gain those skills,
and really satisfying. It's also satisfying that like when he finally gets won over in the first version, to help him. To help the older prisoner escape is that he will get to learn to read.
Yeah.
And like the fact that like he is more motivated by that than literally getting out of prison is somehow like really
and
I don't know, relatable.
That's part of the character building for me because like
it is.
The character building, like the character transformation has already started because like the character he was at the beginning never would have thought that way. But like he's just been thinking about I've been fucked over by everybody and I want to get them all back, and like he knew he wasn't smart enough to do it.
Yeah, he saw it in the first film.
Well, if he'd literally just known how to read, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. He would have read the fucking note and been like, I'm not delivering this fucking
in the
note.
later film, he's just like, hey, you want to learn?
I thought he was much more one note in the newer version.
So I agree with both of you. I definitely like the 2002 version more. It's the reason I wanted to do this. I like Reese, you actually said something after, because we watched 2002 on a Monday, and then the following Wednesday we watched the 2024. You made a comment after watching the 2002, and you were like, "Man, like the new one can only be better."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yeah, you're right." I got really excited.
And then it wasn't.
But like, I also think that 2024 suffered because we watched 2002 2 days before.
It's possible. And
possible. But
I will
there's
say,
just things that I just like more about the earlier. But the things that they clean up a lot of the storytelling in the 2024.
But so much. Like it's
much,
not even cleaning it up. It's like choosing. It's like we really don't want to focus on this at all. We're going to buzz through this.
I think some of them were just differences. I think the introduction was just two different things. One was not more superior to the other. Like just like mechanically, some of the setup was better, but they didn't utilize the space they made in making the setup better. Like they didn't.
For a while.
You had said,
I really like the 2002 one. I think it has some flaws. A lot of it is budget and story like compression. And so basically I was like the 2024 one, and again, this is kind of maybe unfair on my part. We talked
about this.
It's going to be extended with a higher budget. So like it can only be better.
No,
it's going to be more what I like.
We thought that because we talked about it the night after.
You think that they just would.
2002.
They could.
It's a 2 hour and 11 movie, and you were like, I remember being like, thinking it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's because so much happens. There are really 3 parts of the story. There are 3 stories. There's before he goes to prison, while he's in prison, and then the revenge part after.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
even.
We're like so excited because we knew the only thing we knew about the new one, other than it was in the native language of French, was that it was 3 hours long. And so it's like you have 50 extra minutes to distribute to each part of that story. Well, we watched the 2024 and we're like 20 minutes in, and they've already blazed past the first 2 parts of the story. Like they are just like, okay, now we've got fucking like 2 hours and 40 minutes of
I have to say,
revenge.
if I were to pick of those 3 stories, pre-prison, in prison, and revenge, the 3 parts of the stories, if I were to give 1 hour to one of them, it wouldn't be revenge. It would be one of the other 2. I would much rather see like 2 hours, like basically an hour pre-prison, hour in prison, hour out of prison.
Right.
It was really what I was hoping for. And it was just too much focus on the revenge.
I gotta say, man, when I went through the list earlier, and by the way, you were the closest. It was 13.
Yeah.
13 productions of The Count of Monte Cristo, starting in 1912, most recent in 2024.
It's
So
fucking, it's
so
cool.
fucking
It's like
100
100 years of film.
112
like, that's cool.
years of filmmaking.
Yeah. That's dope.
But that 1998 miniseries, I'm kind of intrigued by
Yeah.
that. And it's by that Gerard,
For sure.
the dude with the big ass.
Oh, Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that dude. Like to me, a mini series is really probably the sweet spot for this story.
And that one's probably
Yeah.
in French
Oh,
too,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, I would have to assume. Yeah,
Otherwise,
I'll
you kinda
imagine,
waste
though,
casting
like,
him.
If that's good, there's still room there for like. There's a room for 100 years of that too with this story. like,
I mean, you could the story
take this,
like
you could take this a million different ways.
the
a million different
structure is.
directions. Yeah.
I mean, you can take it
It's
back
a
to the
wonderful-
Odyssey.
It's a wonderful template.
yeah,
you can
yeah.
put it
Yeah.
anywhere you want to.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the Shawshank. I was trying to think of other versions of the
Yeah.
story because like
yeah.
we've seen them.
And
right?
I
You know,
actually had this idea recently too, where I was thinking about doing double features based off of like nods, and like an example is like Raging Bull, right? Like Raging Bull's like a great fucking movie. A lot of people would actually say that that's his best film, right?
Yeah.
And but there's this whole like ode to On the Waterfront. Like there's this whole thing where they talk about the film On the Waterfront, the Marlon Brando film from I think it's 54, 30.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
yeah.
But anyway, I fucking love On the Waterfront. It's one of, as far as classic films are concerned, it's one of the best movies you will ever watch. I think Marlon Brando's performance is arguably the best performance ever on screen. And a time when people weren't even doing people at that time were still doing stage performance on screen, and he was the first person to be like, "No, you don't have to do it like that. You can be a real character here." You know, like
Right.
he realized that the art was
You can
different.
use small emotions.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Don't you know? I
but
could have been.
I had
a
this whole
contender.
thing around doing a like a split like that, where you do a double feature with a film, the classic film, and then the film that like pays homage to the film. You know?
Yeah, that would be cool.
So one thing about the earlier film is I think the betrayal hits like way harder.
Yeah.
Like way harder. And I think they
In the
compromised all that.
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like,
they just-
they
that
don't
was
build
the-
any. They don't take the time
No,
to build
they
any
don't,
relationships.
I think it's they cut down so much, and I think it's fine for this movie to
It's
be
crazy.
equal
It's
parts of the
crazy how
things.
you're right.
and not
'Cause
need-
you say cut down. The 3-hour movie cut way more. Than
Yeah.
the 2
No,
hour and
it
11.
did. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like they made so much space and then left you dissatisfied. They didn't use the space they made, and you just
I
suffered.
did
in the
I
storytelling.
liked the Guy Pearce's character in the newer version. I liked the new. It was basically completely different motivation
Yeah.
Yeah,
for him. I did like it. I just liked obviously
Yeah,
the Guy Pearce
yeah.
more, but I liked that it was really just a selfish. Like, I'm rich, he's poor, I can do
Right.
this, you know,
Yeah.
kind of like.
No, I love the.
well, they also one thing too that is important to mention is how many more characters are added
Oh my
in
god.
the second film.
Yeah.
And that's where all the space, I suppose, is taken up, is the extra characters they introduced, the son and daughter of the two different people.
That's really where it lost me. We were
I like the pirate crew, or like I like the homie better.
Yeah.
right? Like instead of these characters, like this
Yeah, him
one
becoming a
singular
smuggler.
dude that just kind of like somehow, even though it was a little bit more whimsical in the earlier film, his companion pairing worked better, made more sense.
yeah.
You know, even though it was faster, kind of, it still, I don't know.
I think we had like 30 minutes left, and it just felt like they kept introducing new characters, and I was
yeah.
like, "What? I can't. What's going on?"
Yeah,
It's like
this is
like,
unnecessary.
She's the daughter of who?
X is the
They
secret
got
son
killed by
of
what?
Y, and
Yeah,
Y
and that's the thing,
is,
because the important thing is the story, you know,
Yeah.
like the events, the character, the main character in that struggle. So
I will say-
it felt a little more convoluted than it needed to be.
yeah,
Before we watched the movies, I looked at the letterbox scores, and like the letterbox score for the new one is way higher.
it's 4.1.
Yeah, and the other one's like 3 point something.
3.8. Yeah.
The other one's 3.8. Okay, that's closer.
It's high, but like
it's closer to what I thought. But like I looked
it's a big difference.
I started reading through the reviews. Most of the reviews are French people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's French people reviewing a French film, and like,
Right.
and you know.
So anyway,
the 2002 version is. There's always going to be the people who are like, well, British people would actually have bad teeth, so 2 stars.
When I'm doing my research, I always look at both Letterboxd and IMDb.
Yeah.
IMDb today, the new one they have is a 3.7 on their 5-point scale, and the 2002 they have is a 3.8. So I think IMDb actually has it right over Letterboxd in this one.
Probably a more American central audience on IMDb.
Yeah, so that is something to take into account when looking at those.
The 98 miniseries has a 3.6 on Letterboxd, so it's
it seems pretty solid.
And is a French language. 396 minutes.
The extra budget in the later film was definitely like
it was appreciated.
It showed
for sure.
Oh, yeah. And there were moments, but it's still like because it was kind of dissatisfying as a whole story wise. Like it's kind of wasted. Yeah. Like you had this budget, and you could do these, like the boat burning in the opening scene, a lot of the stuff.
So I will say I did look through the. I'm not going to read a book. I read the Wikipedia plot summary of The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah. Okay.
It does actually seem like now it doesn't say how much the book focuses on each part of the story. It honestly feels like the 2002 one is more accurate up until getting out of prison. And then the 2024 one is more accurate in the revenge section.
Okay.
And honestly...
Which is what I thought.
Yeah.
And honestly cut out a lot.
Yeah.
The book is way more convoluted than the reviews.
Yeah.
Okay. They honestly did a pretty good job of like trying to detangle the wild web of characters in the book because there's more characters. And but yeah, the American one I think is more accurate.
In the setup.
So,
let's watch them together.
Edit them together.
And then switch.
Yeah.
To that point in the other film.
You said we would get to it later, and I feel like we're there, man. Like,
this was the nail in the coffin. Ultimately, I think
was the fact that we had to throw a little bit of fucking Mission Impossible in.
Master of Disguise.
Yeah, it made no sense, no setup. So like, it's one thing to assume like I can teach you to fight, but like I can teach you to make immaculate masks.
Yeah,
make you a master of disguise.
Perfect masks.
Yeah.
Like here's the real problem. Like, the 2024 guy. He didn't do anything with his money.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you think he...
he did.
He has all this money. He could hire someone to make masks for him, but fuck, he's gonna...
No, actually, that's much more believable.
It is
much more believable.
I kept making excuses.
Create a character who's like the world's greatest mask maker, and all of a sudden I'm sold.
So that's the
fact he's over there with needle and thread and making them himself. It's like, he didn't have time for this.
The 2002 is so much more believable. It's like, I'm infinitely rich.
Yeah.
Do everything for me. Like, that's what you would do, and it plays the part better.
Yeah. Because it was literally like, oh, well, it's makeup. I guess that's believable. Oh, it's a
whole
mask?
complex.
Okay. It's probably not reusable. It's reusable.
Yeah.
The lady that invented eBay did not know how to turn on a computer. She understood what a computer was, and she had a vision, and like she's like hired people that knew how to use computers. I mean it's all about vision and resources.
Yeah.
But no, that was definitely you just kind of get stuck on it. Like it's silly enough.
It's just hard.
Then I was afraid of every scene, and it's just like, is this a new character or is this him?
It did get to a point where I actually couldn't tell which. Because I thought there were a couple. Like,
is this Edmond Dantes in disguise, or is this a new character?
Did he have a mask for the Count, and then not a mask out of that?
He did have,
but it was really hard to tell.
He had a mask all the time after he was, dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really took me out.
See, that's a huge hole because like I don't know. Yeah,
it's almost like they were like, they watched it 2002 and it's like, well, this is stupid. Like, he's clearly the same guy. And they're like, we need to do a better job of making that believable.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this whole
we're going to overcorrect.
Okay, I will say
Mission Impossible thing where nobody recognizes
Wikipedia did not say anything about the face, the masks or the makeup or anything. So as far as I know, the 2024 one invented that entirely, and I do not understand why. It was pointless.
It's too much. Yeah, it's like you can,
the first time it was like an old man, and he's got like this like blondish like locked hair.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, wait, what?
It's
like I was so confused.
No, for sure.
I'm like, is that him? Is that supposed to be him? And then like you see him walking, and he's got the mask in his hand. You're like, wait, what?
And again, I was like, oh, that was a one-time trick. And then he does it every other scene.
So then every other scene, I'm just like, every scene where there's a new character, you're like, shit, is this like actually a new character? Or is this him in disguise again? I don't know.
I think there were a couple times where I was like, is he one of the women? Is one of the women him?
No, it's fair enough to want to do better than, okay, he's got a different haircut, shave
now
it.
he's got to go.
Now it's you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, do better than that. But like, that's a hell of an overcorrection, man.
Yeah.
It's like a little tiny fucking kick it when you're driving in the ice and just
especially,
like spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude. Like, that's too far.
So a little bit of makeup would have been fine.
Especially when you spent
glasses.
You had 50 more minutes, and you spent
scars.
so much less time on the first two-thirds. Of
They
the story.
saved so much time just to spend it on the revenge, which is just the least.
In the
And
worst
there
ways.
wasn't.
There's
I
better
still felt
ways. You could spend it on the revenge and it'd be better. None of it felt good.
In my mind, like I guess. Like,
I mean, there was a second where I was like, we're going to get like 40 minutes of him on a pirate ship.
Like, I don't think the revenge was more satisfying.
No, it wasn't more satisfying. That's a problem.
Like, I would have thought if you're going to spend 2 hours and 40 minutes of your 3-hour movie on revenge and the planning of revenge, then like it should be a badass planning and revenge.
I think the setup is really important in the story. I think his development is really important in the story. I think it sucks to lose it.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the more like. I
think it's too much story for a 3-hour movie, and like the 2002 movie, while each section felt compact, they did the best job.
It was clean.
I think you could easily make a really satisfying 3-hour version.
I think you could.
Just take, like you said, just take that, take the thing they did in '92 and expound upon it. Like, just get more of all of it.
We got to look where
spend more time.
The Depardieu version is. I bet it's streaming.
I'm really interested to watch that miniseries.
The miniseries, yeah, for sure.
I'm actually like miniseries are like.
I mean, honestly,
killing it for me.
Where is a good Monte Cristo miniseries now? I feel like that would be do a good like 8 episode.
For sure.
So the Shogun thing that swept the SAG Awards, it's borderline the best thing I've ever seen. I mean, like literally the best piece of media I've ever watched. Like,
I think they're extending the story. They're gonna do a season 2 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard. Like, it'd have to be.
It was just so successful. I don't know what it's gonna be.
Like, basically, everybody's dead.
Like a spinoff or something.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a historical show, so you just continue.
It's just like 100 years later,
a new story in history. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Is there already another new Monte Cristo?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, bring it on.
2025 with Jeremy Irons as
I saw that today.
Abe Ferreira. Oh, what? It already has ratings, so it must be out. What is this?
Wait, what? Jeremy Irons?
Yeah, as the other prisoner.
Okay, Jeremy Irons is.
So it's British again.
Okay.
I gotta this.
Is the priest character the we didn't really talk about the like if you guys don't know the story of the Count of Monte Cristo, it's like literally like a fucking like simpleton who's got kind of a good life for a guy who has no money and no brains, gets kind of like put into a weird position because of his stupidity and like basically ends up with information that he shouldn't have and gets like thrown in prison for 15-ish years. And like he, while in prison, fucking dude in the cell next to him accidentally digs the wrong way and happens to be like a literary fucking dude with connections.
I mean, just a badass, like just the most OG motherfucker in the world. Like,
because they're in this
7
prison,
languages,
it's like literally
fucking
just filled with people that.
ex-soldier.
The best possible person to be stuck in a
Yeah.
prison cell with.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what this prison is a bunch of people that they fucking that's the other thing. They didn't really go into like the meaning of Chateau d'If in the second movie, and like he's like in fucking 2002 they're like the warden of Chateau d'If is like, I know you're innocent because everybody. Why else?
Yeah,
would
no,
you be
they
here?
were completely honest with.
Like, why else
yeah,
would you be
the
here?
entire
There are a
time.
million
That's
prisons you
honestly-
could be in.
It really kind of just felt like the movie didn't have an interest in the first half of the story. Like
It
it
did
was
not.
like, let's really just get this out of the way. Like
Yeah.
it's such an interesting.
No, it's a huge part. Well,
structure.
it spans fucking 14 years. Like you're gonna, like,
Yeah.
14 years. You're gonna fuck all that.
You spent 14 seconds
Yeah.
on 14 years.
No,
man.
it's yeah. It did not deliver there. I think it's a really important part of the story. I absolutely say that about
Yeah.
the story of the Count of Monte Cristo overall, and I bet it'd be fantastic to read through. But I think the setup of this character is everything.
Yeah, a couple more things to say, and I think we're mostly focusing on the 2002 because we all agree it's the best.
The production value of the new one is
shot for shot. If you took away all the dialogue, I'm going with the 2024 like 9 times out of 10 for sure.
Even accounting for inflation, I'm sure the 2024 one had 3 times the budget of the 2002 one, and that it really shows. And I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have to talk about Albert from the 2002 version. The old Superman playing a pussy. We talked about it in the last episode that everyone was promised.
Yeah.
And I like that was my take going in, and after rewatching it, I kind of stand up tall and say I was correct.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Was he playing like 16 or like 20? Because like 16,
yes,
I think he was supposed to be like 16.
Yeah, 16 is
I
where
couldn't
the
remember
character's
because
supposed to be.
there's such a big time difference between the two, the older one and the newer one.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years off. I think you said no. It was 13 and 14. It was only 1 year off.
Well, because in the new one he's got like a 20. The kid's 20 and he's not even his son.
So it's the amount of time. That's just in the cuts. Actually. That's I think you said it.
Yeah.
In the second movie.
Yeah, because they kept
movie
saying
really
like
spans 20 years.
because they kept saying like
pretty much.
10 years later, 9 years later, like they kept doing this thing. It's just like, but like the actual story you were telling took place over more than 1 year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So 16 makes sense. But his performance was not super memorable, but it was the character that he was. The one thing too that I liked about 92.
I thought it was memorable. I thought he was like a weakling, and then then he like got strong, and it's funny. He did the Monte Cristo. He got strong.
That's
and
true.
and he became Superman.
Yeah.
I wonder who sent him to prison.
And also, I wanted to mention the chick that played Mercedes in the 2002. I'd never seen her in anything else. And so I looked her up. Her name is Dagmara Dominich or some shit like that. She was in Bottoms.
Huh. Oh, she's the mom that the football player sleeps with.
Yeah.
She's still really hot.
Yeah.
Man, how old
Movie
is
Bottoms
she?
was fucking hilarious, actually.
Oh, it's so fucking... Oh, her name is pronounced Dominchik.
Ridiculous movie.
Dominchik.
Dominchik, yeah.
Dominchik.
Sure. How's that first name pronounced?
Doesn't have a pronunciation for that.
Yeah,
but Dagmar sounds right. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like a name, but...
It doesn't sound like a name. It sounds like somebody made some shit up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Princess Dagmara, help us save Tatooine.
I think these are definitely good movies to watch.
Yeah. You know, we've watched 2 of the 13 possibilities.
Yeah. I did not remember. I didn't have very strong recollection of the 2002 at all, and enjoyed it way more than I thought I did.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the new one, even though it was much more different than I thought.
I did enjoy the new one.
And there's still plenty of good parts to pull from it.
I kind of wish that I would have watched them in the other order.
Yeah, I am having a hard time really judging the newer one like fully on its own.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like I probably always
should watch another one, then we can judge 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'd already we'd already seen the older one, so it's like it's
if
there.
I was a French person that had never seen the 2002 version, then I would probably like it better.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know. I mean, I guess I would always lean towards the movie that is in the native language of the story, but it didn't really help with this one.
No.
I mean, I really appreciated it being in French. I did like it because it is a bit immersion breaking in the 2002 one.
I guess the learning experience here is that miniseries is the way to go with this. And
yes.
Yeah.
Anything this big, I mean, a book should. I
98.
think probably a book should always be a miniseries, really.
I mean, I will keep you guys up to date on this. This is an 8-episode miniseries, The Count of Monte Cristo, 2025. It says it's a French-Italian production, but it is in English. It is not
got Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons as
That sounds good.
Abe Farah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not currently streaming in America, so I don't know where to watch it. But as soon as it becomes available, I'll let you guys know.
Sweet.
Fuck yeah, I'm excited.
All right. So what do we think?
Yeah.
I think that the new American version of Count of Monte Cristo is not more than 2 or 3 years off, right? Like it's
Yeah.
We
Oh,
see
yeah,
the history
right, yeah.
here,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. At most 10.
It's going to be like the Count of Planet Callisto or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be a twist on the story.
Dude, this is a cool story that you could template differently and put in different. Actually, I asked the question when we were going to watch the first one, I think, before you showed up, if there had been any other, like the Shawshank Redemption, like retellings of the base formula of the story. Like the Seven Samurai thing, because you could do that with this very easily. Like you could take this and put it anywhere you wanted to.
Yeah.
And with whatever, it's fun. It's a fun idea. I wonder if there are any of those.
Yeah.
More than
I'm sure.
just retellings of the book story.
Indeed.
So
Highly recommend. At least the 2002
watch
version.
this fucking movie. Fuck this movie.
Fuck it.
Watch this story is sweet. Read this book. Watch all these
fuck
movies.
this
There's
movie.
100 years of film here.
Yeah.
Watch all of them.
My take on this is fuck this movie has a story that is very satisfying.
Yeah.
And that is why you can do it 13 times.
Yeah.
It's fucking satisfying.
That's why this
13
book
plus.
is
fucked
still in
over.
print.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
somewhere.
doesn't matter who you are or how you've been fucked over. It doesn't mean like for me, it's like I went through a drive-through and ordered an unsweet tea and got a sweet tea. Like I want somebody to die for that, And
Revenge.
and if that's you, is it like
But what montage are you going to go through to make that happen?
Dude,
you gotta like break your foot when you go
I'm
to
going-
complain or something.
I'm going
Like be
scorched
escorted by
earth.
the.
I'm going scorched earth on this tea.
I'm burning this McDonald's to the ground.
I say it all the time. I'm like, I swear to God, if this tea is sweet, I'm gonna throw it back through the fucking window.
Yeah.
That's funny because I've had plenty of times where I was like, I've ordered a sweet tea and got DoorDashed a non-sweet tea and just like
Bullshit, you
How
have
fucking hard is it to push the right fucking lever?
When I order an iced tea,
Hey man, it's not. But you could have been having a really shitty day,
I know.
or you could have been lazy. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
here's a question. Here's
We
a
don't
question. Here's a question. When you order an iced tea and they say sweet or unsweet, how is that an intelligent question?
Oh,
If I
'cause
wanted a
iced
sweet
is
tea, I
iced
would've
tea,
fucking
sweet tea, is
ordered
sweet tea, yeah.
A sweet tea, like nobody who wants wants a sweet tea.
Well, those
orders
problems-
Well, so the thing
Ultimately, those questions stem from stupid customers. That's the thing. Is someone ordered an iced tea and got an iced tea, and like, why the fuck did you give me an iced tea?
Well,
I wanted a sweet tea.
some
It's like, but you
people might
ordered
not
an
be
iced tea.
aware that there are things without sugar in them too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, based on our culture, like
What?
they would assume they would be sweet first.
Anyway, enough about tea.
Yeah.
The
picks or
why don't
what's
you,
in theater?
Reese,
What's in
tell us.
theater?
I think you got the floor now.
Yeah,
so you
it's
tell
my
us,
show now, bitch.
What we should watch in the theater, real quick, and
Yeah.
what we're gonna watch next week.
Well, I'll breeze through this a little bit because there's a shit ton of movies playing in Warsaw because it looks like they got a big batch of the Oscar-nominated movies.
Oh, nice.
With all really selective showtime. So good luck finding one that works for you. But here is the stuff playing in Warsaw. We have Moana 2, Sonic 3, Mufasa, Dog Man, Paddington in Peru, Captain America Brave New World. Those are all the sequels. Then we have Love Hurts, which I've heard pretty bad to mix.
A lot of
things
animated
on.
movies, huh?
Yeah. 3. Yeah.
Have you seen all of them yet?
No, I don't want to see a lot of these. Heart Eyes, which is a Valentine's themed horror movie that came out a couple weeks ago. I do want to see that one. Then we have Wicked, A Complete Unknown, The Unbreakable Boy, which in the trailer has a line where the little boy says, "Oh, and I'm also autistic." And I'm just like, why is this a movie? Another horror movie.
If he said, "I'm also autistic and unbreakable,"
It's me, the unbreakable autistic boy. Another horror movie that looks fun, The Monkey, which, fun fact,
Monkey Shines.
is not based on Monkey Shines, and Monkey Shines is not a Stephen King story.
What?
Yeah.
It's at least a Stephen King fucking like
Knockoff?
introduced or something.
It
had
might
the
be
fucking
like,
book in my house.
presented by Stephen King.
It might have been a novel
Yeah.
that he presented. Or
Yeah, I was
something.
talking to the Karma people about The Monkey, and I was like, and I think it's based on Monkey Shines. And they're like, it is not actually. We've all had this conversation already, and it's not based on Monkey Shines, and Monkey Shines is not a Stephen King book. And it's like, okay,
Yeah, son of a
I've learned
bitch.
something.
Yeah.
Then we have, I'm actually kind of hoping to see this now. Flow is playing in Warsaw theaters.
Oh, yeah? Oh, dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might go do that.
It's pretty selective showtimes, but yeah, I would definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I'll try it. That'd be
Anora
fun to see.
is playing it at our theater.
What are these selective showtimes for
Okay, for instance, for Friday, Nora is only showing at 9:05. Conclave is only showing at 1:10. Flow is only showing at 6:55, and A Complete
Are
Unknown
they
is
showing Sunday?
on Sunday. They are all playing on Sunday except for Anora, and again, it's only one showing each. So yeah, if you can manage those showtimes, I highly recommend them. Go see Anora, go see Conclave, go see Flow.
I want to see it, Nora.
They're going to be much better than a lot of other stuff in theaters right now. And then the new release is The Last Breath, which is like a thriller based on a true story about like
Based on
submarine
a
or
true
some shit.
story. Just don't even
Yeah.
say it anymore. Just stop. It doesn't need to be based on
inspired
a
by
true
true events.
Just here's the story. Who cares?
Based on a wet dream.
There was a person named Ted. He lived here. Based on a true story.
Oh, and then next week, March 7th, we have Mickey 17 finally coming to theaters.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Psyched.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
a movie I saw a preview for, Ash, like kind of horror sci-fi that's coming. this
Ash?
year. Ash, yeah, I think.
I've not heard anything.
So a
I
trailer of
saw a
some
trailer for something with like Michael Fassbender and I can't even remember what it was. I saw a Michael Fassbender type thing the other day that looked interesting to me.
kind. All right.
I miss Michael
So-
Fassbender. Seems like he's just not been acting as much. Oh, wait. I think he was in like a miniseries, like an Amazon miniseries or something.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was. Very
Oh, that's something else you're talking about.
well, no, yeah, that's the agency.
Yeah.
I talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like a spy series, but it's like it's the spy series they never. It's like exactly what like would. It's more realistic than like a James Bond thing where it's like,
Yeah.
I've got a special watch that does a thing. You know, it's like there's no like gadgets. It's like literally like fucking selling information and
Yeah.
like dealing with
Espionage.
this dude has been in another country for the last fucking 6 years pretending to be somebody else, and now he's back on U.S. soil, and they're like want to make sure he's like integrated correctly because like he's been living another life for like fucking 7 years. So is he the guy that left 7 years ago, or is he the guy that he became while 7 years an enemy? You know, it's like a whole. It really focuses
Whole thing.
on the like fucking like like psychological part of being a spy as opposed to just like the action. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
Really
that's
fucking
cool. Yeah,
Nice.
I dig that.
Okay, so my choices this week, I was deciding I wanted to pick out an animated film because we still just haven't watched a lot of animated movies.
Yeah, I've been thinking about picking some myself.
Yeah, so I was looking through some, and I picked one, and then I wanted to do a similarly themed live-action movie to go with it. So I picked one of my favorite movies from last year, Mars Express. That's the animated one.
Okay.
And then I went with another sci-fi film for live action, and I picked a movie I haven't seen in probably almost a decade and a half, Enemy Mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah.
I remember
Is
Yeah.
who's the actor?
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
And,
Right.
good with the
I've been
subject.
wanting to watch that. That's a good
Louis
fucking
Gossett
pick.
Jr.
Yeah.
Louis
Yeah.
Gossett Jr. as well.
Yeah.
Makeup the entire time, and I've only seen it a couple times. I recall really loving it.
Yeah,
and,
I've really been wanting to rewatch that.
yeah, having
I'm
a
excited
great,
about this.
like really woke plot about loving your enemy. So yeah, I don't know how much themes we'll find in common between the two, but they're both about 90-minute sci-fi movies that I really like.
That's sweet. Nice.
I'm
This
in.
is cool.
Let's
Hell
do
yeah.
it.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for episode 45.
Peace out,
of,
folks.
Fuck This Movie.
Hello, person that chimed
Oh.
in. We didn't see you because we're so used to just kind of prattling on. But
Yeah.
Well, we're heading
Tune
out,
in.
so start from the beginning.